just to recap real quick, I know this stuff kind of gets monotonous, but there's always new joiners. Um, so, oh, Brittany wants to be a guest. Why does anybody know? Brittany, it says invite BDI Brittany 214 to join live as a guest. Does that mean they're in here and they want to be a part of the live? Who did I send an invitation to? Why is there invitations down here? Invite her? Okay. Let's invite her. She must have unblocked me because I'm blocked by all of them. Oh, I think I sent her like a 20 different ones. Anyhow, I think I just invited a bunch of people to be a co-host. I'm still learning about all this stuff, you know. I'm not a grifter, so I'm still learning. There's like I this wasn't on here last night. Jury. I didn't have this option. So is there people out there? Is that what they're doing? They're asking to be a part of the live? Oh, okay, okay, okay. So that means Brittany's watching me right now then. Oh, perfect. Hey, Britt, you guys should have when you had the chance. I bet I was the last person that you expected to see. Where'd you think I went? Where'd you think I Where'd you think I went to? Where did I go? Leaving your compound in the middle of the night with my ex-sister-in-law fully strapped up with a bunch of stuff and Billy Club and standing at your property edge, holding the space for me with their suit up of what they had. Where did you Where'd you think I went to? You didn't think that was weird? Since you guys don't do anything wrong, you didn't think that that was weird? That I would have to leave your compound armed with an armed soldier to come get me? But you guys, but you're not doing anything wrong. You're not harming people, right? That's what you're talking about people. You can't get people to come do live feeds with you. I have to be taught how to make a second account. I go and make a second account. I go to watch your live feed. You're talking about people that have that you have harmed, and I go get on there and you block me. You called my name. You said Nikki, and then you blocked me when your brain processed that it was me. I hope you like orange, Britt. Hope you and Cassie love the color orange. What are you going to do? Grift from prison, from federal prison, to put money on your books? Do you think that they're going to give you TikTok in federal prison? Just because you see federal prison TikToks with these men, that's earned services. You think that they're really going to give you accessibility to TikTok for fraud? Those men aren't in prison for fraud. Well, I just invited her to be a co-host because she popped up, but apparently she denied it. You know, that's that what's it called? 5 5GW, right? That's what it's called. I've read that book a few times. Art of War, baby. Started reading Art of War when I was 8 years old. I've been an indigenous political activist since I was 13 years of age. I'll be 50 in October. Part of the reason why I did not come forward to talk about what I experienced with Beyond Duality is because the work that I've done, the vetting that I've had to have in some of these circles for murdered and missing and exploited people, for the activism work that I've done, I was embarrassed that I, of all people, got by them. I was embarrassed. I thought people weren't going to want to work with me anymore because I wasn't making a good choice by aligning with those people. Because see, what happens is when you work in advocacy, when you work in activism, and that is your role, you have to be vetted. You have to go into communities and you have to put in work, time, energy, spend time with elders, help with the children, help with the community, help build the garden, help cultivate whatever they have going on. You go clean elders' houses without a word. You earn the privilege to be in that community. And every time you have to earn that privilege into that community, it's almost like a badge of honor. It's not. I mean, this is a non-native space for the most part. So some of the things I'm using and I'm speaking on are directed for you guys so that you can understand, because it's a different language, not literally the language itself of different tribes of what they speak, but between the worlds being, there's a difference. And so anyhow, you have to work for this vetting. You have to prove yourself worthy over and over and over again in each and every community that you go in. Do you know 13 to 50? Do you know how much I have worked to earn the honor to be able to go into these spaces? And then after being bamboozled, being took by these grifters, these con artists, these abusers, these psychopaths, these demons, I was so embarrassed. But see, that's part of that psyop. It's part of that warfare. They intentionally do crazy things because they know that if you go to tell someone, they won't believe you, no matter who you are. But see, what they don't realize is evil has an end date. My story starts with Cassie and Britt. Oh, she can't stand when I call her Cass. She's probably over there just stewing right now because I'm calling her Cass. I'm calling her out her name. Oh boy. I met these two. I met Cassie. I was a spiritual worker. I work in traditional medicine. I was a seer, did a lot of public live feeds on Facebook. I had a really significant following for a really long time. 2012 I started. I think Cassie came on the scene. I don't know. There was a lot of fans. Cassie was a fan until she became a client. And then she was a client for a really long time. She learned a lot from me. A lot. However, I also learned from Cassie. It was reciprocal. I mean, I've been consistent in saying that. I mean, I don't have a problem being fair. I give people their props no matter who they are. If they're earned, they're earned. I'm just here to tell the facts of what I've experienced. The abuses that I suffered at the hands of Cassie and Britt. So once we started, she wasn't my client anymore. We were like sisters. We were like spiritual sisters. Cassie was a therapist. She worked with Indigenous children. See, and they tell on themselves. Demons have to tell on themselves. They always have to tell on themselves. So Cassie did a video recently. And in the video, she says the traffickers use children to lure people in. That's how I got lured to Canada. And that's how they came and got me They even know that because I had a big old conversation, and they're the ones that told me that they use children to lure you in. Well, they have two children. Cassie has had two teenage boys at the time, and her older son that's married to Cassie. And then her oldest son and Cassie and Brittany have two children. And when Britt was pregnant with the last one, I had done a lot of work with that baby while that baby was in her belly. So these people I've known for quite a while prior to all of this BDI stuff. So she lured me in the friendship by leading with being a therapist for Indigenous children as I'm an Indigenous woman that works in the movement, that's an activist, works in MMIW. I have a bunch of these people that want to be a co-host, and I have no idea who they are. Thank you, Porcelain Doll. I'm so glad to see you here. Jay Strolls, Cassie Regina. That's why she's obsessed with the vagina all the time. I love the lady that called him out too. I came on after that, and that's when I was in the comments because I couldn't find a way to like join in. So I just typed in the comments. I said, you harmed me. And then Cassie was like, oh, there's another one. I was like, oh, they saw my message. So I go, yeah, it's Nikki. Or no, Cassie said, Kalima. I don't know Kalima. I'm Kalima energy. But so she's like, I don't know Kalima. And then Brittany goes, Nikki. And then it took her a second. And the second that it took her and Cassie, you should have saw the look on their face. That was chef's kiss. I hope somebody got that screen grab. I would love to have that posted right there. For those that are just joining, I'm not normally like this. It's been a very emotional day. I started off with some messages going back and forth and some discernments. And then I went down yesterday. The federal building was closed. So I went down to the federal building to gain some information regarding my rights. Because now you're dealing with like RICO stuff because it was international, Canada to the United States. So basically they trafficked me from Canada. So now you're looking at RICO charges. So it gets really complex. So I wanted to, and I'm autistic. I'm on the spectrum. I have an old diagnosis of Asperger's. So I wanted to, and I have a ADHD. So I wanted to be in person and get the information right from the agents' mouths, so that this is Jay Strolls. My therapy, I had to go to therapy after I left there. I mean, I've been in therapy most of my life, so I'm not taking away from that, but I had to go into really intense therapy after I left their compound because I had survivor's guilt about leaving Natasha there. And I actually tried to get Natasha to leave with me when I was leaving in the middle of the night, and she wouldn't. And I tried to get her to go 2 more times, and she wouldn't. So, but I had a lot of survivor's guilt for a real long time regarding that. And then I just recently found out that I don't know all the details. I just know that she's safe. So therapy, talk therapy helps me to get out of here. Because when you're trafficked and when you're abused and things like that, there's no one to talk to. So anything that you're perceiving, there's no way for you to know, like, is this real or is this like psychological warfare? I highly recommend, there's a book that one of Cassie's and Brittany's what's that called with the people that work with you? The person that's co-conspirator. I think they said their brother-in-law wrote this book. It's called 5GW. And it's like psychological warfare. It's a whole book on psychological warfare. And Cassie and Brittany are textbook with it. Textbook. I wish I would have had that book before I went to that compound. But I didn't. So I got a hold of that book after. And but that's okay. Everything happens for a reason. My creator puts me where my creator puts me when my creator puts me there. So I actually got I wasn't on TikTok. I deleted everything. And then someone sent me, they've been following the files, and someone sent me a video, this viral video. They didn't know that I knew the people in the video. They were just showing me the video because they were like, you got to check this out. This woman is claiming that she survived the islands. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? So I make a TikTok and I go on. Oh no, I'm sorry. I saw their TikTok. The person shared it with me, saw that TikTok. And when I see it, I was flabbergasted. Because I hadn't seen any of Beyond Duality Inc. in like their material because I blocked them at that point. 2-3 years because I left their compound. I escaped in August, the end of August of 2023. And I forgot where I was going with that. I'm sorry. It's been a really stressful day. If somebody can remind me where I was just at, that'd be great. Plus, there's a lot of magic. There's a lot of chaos magic right now. So I'm kind of putting up a barrier as well. I definitely need to probably to have a mod in here just to help with that. And they're like I have verification right now that that's what people are doing. So, Porcelain Doll, would you be interested in being a mod? Okay, I'm gonna make you a mod real quick. If I could figure out how to do it. I had to get walked through it last night. Oh, it doesn't let me. It won't let me now. Interesting. Oh well. There's a lot of dark magic on here right now. Just telling you guys. There's a lot that you're not seeing happening right now. Um, yeah. So anyhow, I survived their bullshit, and this person gave me their video, and I see it, and I just can't believe the level to which the manipulation had gotten because um, I had been off, blocked from them, like didn't have not looked at any of their stuff. Yeah, it still won't let me. It's interesting, isn't it? Oh, there it is. Okay, I found it. It was a me thing. It was what I was doing. My bad. Almost 50 years old, you guys. So it prompted me to make an account. So I made an account because I wanted to go over their videos. I wanted to see exactly what they were up to. The human in me, the victim, the person that's been abused. I wanted to know what they were up to. And man, oh, are you Porcelain Doll? Well, good. I'm not alone in here then. And man, when I saw their videos, I'm not even gonna talk about the comments. When I saw their videos, it's like straight psychopathy. These are psychopaths. Like you watch a Netflix video about a documentary about on Netflix about psychopaths. It's them. There's a lot of spiritual warfare going on in here right now, you guys. They're trying to attack my throat chakra, trying to shut me up. They're trying to shut me up. They're going crazy right now, trying to shut me up. But they can't. They absolutely cannot shut me up. They thought they did. They thought I had gone away. They thought I disappeared, tucked my tail and ran, and I did. I did. I was a coward. I admit it. I was a coward. I have accountability. I have accountability and ownership as a human being. Watch, next videos, you're going to be talking about that because you don't ever hear them talking about those things. You don't ever hear them use the word accountability. I have accountability and ownership over what I have chosen. And I've atoned to my creator for those things. I walk in a good way. I do the best I can as a human being each and every day. I wake up every single day to see how I can be a support to humanity. I gave over myself as anything that, any goals and stuff like that, I gave it to humanity. I work for humanity. I am an indigenous political activist. I put my body on the line for many of you. Do you live along the Mississippi? Do you live along the Missouri? Do you live along the Chesapeake Bay? Do you live along the Gulf of Mexico? Do you live along the Rio Grande? Do you live along the Colorado River? Do you live out in Tacoma, Puyallup, on those waterways out there? No LNG in the 253? I was the warrior woman that put that together. I put my body on the line for humanity. What are these women doing? I am a stolen sister. MMIW. I was taken. This isn't the first time this has happened to me. I was taken and trafficked in 2012 from my corner store. You know, indigenous people, African American and Black women specifically, are the most targeted human beings on the planet. Do you guys know those stats? Do you know that BIPOC women are sought after to do genetic testing on, to steal their eggs, to mar and damage their wombs? Do you know that indigenous women are highly sought after for satanic ritual? Do you know why? Why? Let's pull the thread on that. Let's pull the thread on why an indigenous woman with spiritual gifts, traditional and culture, why I would be targeted. Well, let's back up. There's a concordant. I want to say it was 1602. I can't recall the date off the top of my head. Between the Holy See, the Vatican, and the Mi'kmaq people of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island. Through the wampum. Now, if you study Indigenous history, you know what a two-row wampum is. You know what a wampum is. You know what it represents and what it means. I don't know what that was. Oh my God, it scared me. What is that? That scared me. I'm sorry. And so there's a wampum with the Holy See. And on the wampum is the Keys of St. Peter. Mi'kmaq people are the only people on the planet to have a concordant with the Vatican, to not only be under the protection of God, but to have all the authority of God. Which means, by bloodline, we're demon slayers. Did you hear me? By bloodline. Anointed by the Holy See, by the Vatican, through wampum concordant, we're demon slayers. It's a treaty that we have with the Vatican. You can go look this up. So when you have that kind of a bloodline, that's like gold in Masonic temples. Especially when you think about indigenous people and how connected they are to the earth, to the elements, to the sky beings. We're a bridge, especially being a woman, being a portal, and an active portal. Is this stuff making sense on how deep it all, yeah, small town, on how deep it all goes? And right under your noses. I lived in Florida, a sidetrack. I lived in Florida for 25 years on and off. Okay. The way Florida's set up, it's really flat if you're not familiar. And there's all these like businesses in these buildings, these outdoor like mall stuff. When you go through these areas at night and you look at the lights of the buildings, like with their logo and their words on it, certain letters will be out. And as you're driving, you can read a whole sentence on either side of the road. With those lights that are out, you can read a whole sentence of what they're saying. Little boy here, pizza. Black girl here, pizza. This is not rocket science. It's just we're not willing to take a look at these things. We don't want to think that people are capable of doing these things. Do you know why we don't want to think that people are capable of doing these things? All the people that are in here that are doubting beyond duality, I want to compliment you. The reason why you're doubting what we're all saying about Beyond Duality Inc. is because you are a kind and compassionate being. And that you don't think of people in the way that they do. So it's challenging for you to wrap your mind around that these two women that on paper, on video, look to be helping women and children. Okay. So are we all caught up on this part? Because I'm going to get even deeper now. The things that I talk about, I'm sharing as a catalyst. I want you to go do your research. I want you to sit and use critical thinking skills. Who, what, when, why, where, and how. Weren't we all taught that? Who, what, when, why, where, and how. When you go back and you look at these videos of them, who, what, when, why, where, and how. Now, let's follow this for a second. You were two women crying around on TikTok that you have no supports. Suba, hey. And you need money to go save these women and children. We're just two women. We sold all our stuff in Minnesota. We came down here to Alabama to have this space so that we can have this place for these people to come so that we can help them heal. We need help. We need money so we could go get them. We need money to build out the farm. Okay. All right, we hear you. Oh, the Italian Stallion's back. So, could the mod take care of that, please? They're always asking for trailers, Suba, always. Because, all right, think about this. They left Minnesota in 2019 with those same RVs that they're in right now. What's this year? 2026? Okay, so case in point, I don't think that they left for, I'm not sure the timeline. I just know it was after I stopped talking with them. So it was either late 2019 or early 2020. But they had bought 2 RVs to tow behind 2 of their trucks, and they did a convoy down to Alabama. Those same RVs are the same RVs that they're in right now. That's where they get people's sympathy. But think about that. Use your critical thinking skills. Put your thinking caps on, boys and girls. If you've been somewhere for 6 years and you've been asking and grifting money from the public for 6 years and you have a nonprofit organization, how do you not have new structures? How do you not have new RVs? Where's the money? Where's the money? You want to know where the money is? We'll get to that. So here you're crying around. You need all this help. I'm going to just fast forward. They come get me. I'm coming down. Very first night, I have cash on hand. And I have funds. And I say to Cassie's husband, now, a person that's worked MMIW, a person that's been an Indigenous political activist since I was 13 years of age. So I know how to go into camps and create a sustainable, eco-friendly camp, a safe environment. I know how to do these things, and I have the resources and the people to do it. So I'm under the guise that I'm going to work with Beyond Duality Inc. and for murdered and missing Indigenous women. That's what I thought. That we were going to unify. She had the property, I had the resources. So when I started contacting my resources, because she's a nonprofit, contacting grassroots organizers and organizations throughout Indian country, they were going to bring people. They were going to bring equipment to like flatten out the property and all those things. And I'm trying to get with them. Like, what do you need? Tell me what you need. It was just a circle jerk. They needed money. They didn't actually want the help to build out their compound. They didn't want that. They wanted money. I learned that within 3 days. Kind of like on here on TikTok, I've learned who I can associate with and who I can't associate with, who's under their PSYOP spell and who's not. Who's a double agent. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is something, oh Jesus, scared the crap out of me again. This is ridiculous. This is like something out of and they love it. They love it. They love that all these people are divided. They love that their names are coming out of so many people's mouths. Just make sure it's the correct names, because Cassie don't like that. That's why I don't give her power. I'm not going to call her by what she wants me to call her. Hey, Cass. Hey, Cassie. Cassie Regina. How's Griffin doing? You are looking like you got some panda eyes going on over there. How's Griffin? He move out after he learned about your psychosis crap? Pray for that boy every single day. Every single day. That poor child, you effed that poor child up so much. You guys got to remember, I met them. I've known them. I was in their home in Minnesota. Met their children, put my medicine on Brittany's baby. Oh my God. So you have someone that has the resources, that does this, works with murdered and missing Indigenous women, recovery work. And as soon as they realized that I wasn't going to get them money, but I was going to get them resources and get the things that they needed, that's when all the PSYOP started. That's when all the abuse started. And see, this is where you split hairs. And they're shaming people for shaming whatever victims and what have you. They don't think psychological abuse is abuse. They love it. They relish in it. They use it on each other. That whole entire family is one big PSYOP. Cassie and Brittany have PSYOPed psychological warfare so much on their family that they They can't escape. They're victims. You know, everyone's like, how's Colin staying? She's got something on him. He did some dirt. You telling me that if you had a partner and you had been with them for years and you had kids together and you kind of grew up together in a sense in your mentalities, that you ain't doing dirt with one another when you're doing dirt? Come on. That's why Colin's stuck there. You know, so anytime that we're able to shed light on Beyond Duality Inc. and get this out there, because see, there's a difference. I've come on the scene and everyone's doing TikTok trial court, back and forth shit. And I'm not taking away from that. Thank you. Because if you guys weren't doing that, it would never have gotten on my radar. Okay? So I'm grateful for that. Don't get that twisted. But there's people perpetuating it just to keep the energy of it going, to keep for clout, I guess is what y'all are saying. Is there anyone else? Are you doing okay in here, Porcelain Doll, being a mod? Do you need another mod in here with you? Oh, I'm going to talk about more time on the compound. I'm definitely going to do that. Oh, yeah, we're all demons up in here, according to Cassie. Delete, destroy, and uncreate that. Hey, Halls. Thank you. It's very sick what they're doing. And Frauditor Reaper. Hey, if you guys get a chance, Frauditor Reaper did a video on YT. Go check that out. It's really good. Not right now though. You're on the live feed. Oh man. I appreciate that. Thank you. I could use that because I am going to chat a bit about, I want to talk a bit more. Mama Lou is doing a video regarding the symbolism, the demonic symbolism. I think there was a creator. What can you guys tell me her name? The one that did the video. I only know her. She's got a sword in her name. What's her name? I forget it. Anyhow, she did a video regarding it too. I'm sorry, my brain's fried. I'm trying to remember. Tricks. Yes, Tricks. Tricks did one. Sorry, Tricks. Tricks did one. It's so good. Anytime that Tricks does stuff, you guys gotta go check it out. It's just so juicy. And Tricks is like behind the scenes, is what I'm perceiving. Tricks is just like behind the scenes doing tricks. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they come out with these whompers, and I'm like, holy shit, just blows my mind. You know, it's amazing, the human beings. When human beings are really in an alignment and really on task, it's amazing what we're capable of doing together. It really is. And my own damn best friend. Yeah, I know. Yep. So I just want to say, for the most part, I have to go live for 3 days in order to bring somebody on, because what I would like to do is I would like to find people that don't mind being on video. I don't want to do audio stuff. I want people to see you face to face that have been grifted by Beyond Duality, that has had money taken, that has been abused by them. And not telling stories that you heard or a TikTok that you saw. If you actually factually were abused by them. Now, do we have to go over what the definition of abuse is? I want to be clear, because people weaponize words to keep it limited to certain categories. And so people don't understand that they could actually be a victim of abuse. Because, you know, when you go into Google, or how I'll describe it, is like WebMD. You know, I got a headache. Delete, destroy, and uncreate that. And you go into WebMD and you type it in. You know what I mean? And it tells you this is what that is. Well, it's not just that. It's also, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. That's like abuse. Abuse is anything mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, Anything that takes you outside of the safety of that, it's abuse. Financial abuse, I didn't add that one in. There's financial abuse. That's what they're doing. That's finance. So if you've given them money and they promised you something in return, either videos about what they spent the money on, or a product, or a book, or something, they were giving you something out of gratitude in return, and you got nothing, that's financial abuse. That's financial abuse. You have a case if you have record that you gave them money and you got nothing in return. You have a case. And we're building one, by the way. We're building one. That's what I was circling back to. I'm grateful for the creators that have been really diving into this, but now we're at that stage where we are prosecuting. I'm not stopping until listen, look, I'm not stopping until they're in orange jumpsuits. And if there's anyone else in here that would like to see that kind of justice, hit the hearts. I'm going to see them hearts right now flooded. Because I need to know that I'm not doing this for nothing. I'm putting myself on the line, along with some really other strong people that have physically been in contact with these people. And it's a lot. I don't think you all know on the other end of that. Yeah, it's drama and it's entertaining. I get it because I was entertained by it too. Okay. But when you're on this side of it, to have this, to be able to do this, you don't get to see like why I haven't had any weed or anything. My eyes are like this because I've been crying all day. I'm not an emotional person like that at all. I had to do 2 years of therapy to get to this place right now, to be able to do this video, to talk about this. You don't see the anxiety, the OCD, you don't see you don't see all that. You don't see what it takes to be able to have the courage to sit here before people and talk about something that is getting so picked apart. The abuse that I deal with from the people. This is a lot. So I need to know that if I'm going forward with this, that I'm going to be supported in it. It does take a lot to come out and talk about your experience, especially when you've been abused. I really appreciate everyone that's saying that they definitely will be a part of this. Mama Lou is here. Yay. Please, when Mama Lou does that video, please go check it out. That's where I got that screen grab earlier today to show you the sigils. Because if you were here last night on the live feed, you'll get there, Nadine. You'll get there. I know you are, Halls. If you go back to, or I don't know if you can. Can you go back and watch lives? But if you were a part of that live last night, you heard me talk about the setup of the compound and the sigils and the demonic symbolisms that they had. And Mama Lou got a screen grab of it because they're about to do a video about it. And so I took that from Mama Lou and did a little video today. And so Trix, I think it was, went and did a video about that, looking it up. And so it's there. I didn't want to really talk about them because you give it power, especially someone like me. But I could tell you a lot of it, now that that's been out there publicly, a lot of it is chaos. It's meant for chaos. It's meant for confusion. So these are chaos symbols. There's also other ones as well. Conjures, their portals, things like that. But they're all over Cassie's RV. All over her RV. And Mama Lou. Exactly. And not only are they all over the RV, the way they have the property set up, or at least when I was there. Um, the chicken pen, the goat pen, the fire pit, where the buildings were, it was all set up in like that star, whatever that star thing is. Like if you were to align all this thing, I'm gonna have to get used to that thing. If you whatever that star is, like if you were to take a look at it, it could also have been like an octagon looking thing too. But if you look at like if you overlay it, anyhow, I'm all over the place because I'm all over the place. There's just so much to talk about. They are a cult. Absolutely a cult. 1,000,000% a cult. They don't get cultier than this kind of cult. They are a cult. For sure. I'm gonna. Thank you. I appreciate that. So why don't you guys tell me what you're interested in me speaking of? Because there's a lot here. And I do have things that I want to talk about, but it's kind of challenging. And so I have to like build up to it. Again, I have a lot of survivor's guilt about leaving Natasha there. And even though I know that she's safe now, it doesn't discount the 2 years that I went through of like worrying for her. Yeah, some come out of the Bible, but you got to also remember King Solomon. Some of those are from King Solomon. Okay, so you gotta take that into account. And King Solomon had the Book of Demons, so you actually they always have a purpose to what they do. Okay, just know that. All this just open up all wounds. Yeah, it does. And I had not, up until today, I hadn't had anyone to really talk to about it besides my therapist, like an actual human being that's gone through it. And I had to have a therapist that specifically dealt with like trafficking and psychological warfare. And that was really hard to find. It took me 6 months to find that person. And it was a lot of advocacy to get there. They did a number on me. They really did a number on me. I was not okay for quite a while. And I have a very strong brain. I'm hemi-synced. I'm one of those people that you can't program. You go to a hypnotist, I can't be hypnotized. Doesn't work on me. So they tried to use my own. See, let me rephrase that because it sounds like I'm giving them power, and I'm not. The reason why I was so effed up over it wasn't because of what they did, even though that was a lot of it originally. I was able to move through that pretty quickly once I was able to understand what they were doing. But what really effed me up was that these were people that I thought loved and cared about me. These were people that I trusted. And trust don't come easy with me from the past that I have. I was born into darkness. I was a spark of light born into darkness. And I had to claw my way out. And I did. And here I thought I found sistership. I thought I found someone that was safe. And she was just a jealous bitch. She wanted what I was. She's a parasitic infection. She has no personality of her own. That's why she steals everybody else's. With no concern or care for what that does for that family. Could you imagine, being Megan Walsh and in the middle of possibly losing your children? John Walsh is this famous guy, blah, 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 blah. Then you have cockadoodle-doo dumbass 1 and 2 saying that this person is her sister. And that John Walsh is that person's father. Could you imagine? circle of protection around Megan Walsh, please. That's just crazy. I can only imagine the effed up things that they were saying. Please go read that book. Please go read the 5GW book. It is complete psychological warfare, chaos energy, confusion and chaos, and how you use it to keep your enemy unknown so that they don't know what's going on. That book was written by one of their co-conspirators' brother-in-laws. So let's follow that. They were part of the triangle because Beyond Duality has to work in Trinity. They always have to work in threes. Okay? That's how their magic works, because they're parasitic. They do not possess magic of their own. They have to take it in. They have to ask for it from demons. And then to sustain themselves in their everyday, they have to feed off of you. Did you see the panda eyes in their live feed? Both of them, Brittany a little bit more so than Cass. That's because they're not feeding. They got that 10 million hit of that. I survived islands. There's more than one. They got lots of energy on that, but they were so depleted prior to that it only sustained them for a few days. But see, it's like that A medicine that people are talking about with children, the A. When you do that and you do a lot of it and then you don't get it, or you haven't had it for a long period of time, you get it and you feel great, but then it's like depleted out of you and you're 10 times worse than you were before you had it. If you do not have a consistent supply of it, you get these highs and lows. But they were so desperate for their hit, because they're addicts. They were so desperate for their hit, they didn't care. They didn't have anything up until that video. And then when that video hit and they had all those views, man, they were riding high. They were riding high. And now they're feeding off all these back and forth videos. Yeah, Mama Lou, did you see that? And it's been prominent in the last few videos. So that third person, that co-conspirator with them, that person, their brother-in-law, which means their husband's brother, the co-conspirator's husband, their brother, wrote that book about chaos and confusion, psychological warfare. And they have more than one high to feed. That's right. Well, okay, so let's talk about, I have a pimple coming in. So let's talk about that. 3D, 4D, and 5D. Are we aware of what this means? Like right now, this is a 3D. This is a 3D aspect. If I pick this up and I hit myself on the head, that's 3D. If I start to think about this, I start to think about it, and I'm trying to conjure that into my space. So let's say I know that I need my charger. Delete, destroy, and uncreate that. And it's sitting here physically, and I need my charger for over here. So being in this 4D space is like you're in the mental body of the awarenesses of things. And then when you're in the 5D space, it's like a spiritual aspect of it. So in the 3D space, yes, the drugas that they do, that is the bottom. They do the drugas because they don't get anything else. The drugas help them in between the dopamine and serotonin hits of going on the trips, of taking off, going across the country. Because they don't have that, then they do the drugas. Yeah, Natasha. That's who I'm talking about, Nadine. Natasha. She did Nightshades with Natasha, or Night Moves or something like that. She did astrological horoscope stuff. Yeah, she's a very sweet woman. They pinned us against one another. That's who I was having the survivor guilt over. They pinned us against one another, and I think at one point they were trying to promote it in a way where that we would physically get into a physical altercation, because they wanted to take me out of my resonance. They wanted to take me out of my form, and to get into a physical altercation with somebody would be taking me out of my form. Um, because I have a dark past in the sense of I was born of darkness. I mean, I used to box, I used to do kickboxing, Muay Thai, I used to be a fighter, I used to be a brawler back in the day, and I'm not that anymore. I only had to be those things to survive the abuse in the environments. That's not who I am. So, but they were trying to activate that part of me. Because when you're going to sacrifice someone for a ritual, that A thing again, you got to build all of the stuff, all the hormones in the body. You got to build all the adrenal glands. You got to get everything going. That's why the psychological warfare. Do you know how high my adrenal glands were and how much it took to get my adrenals to settle down after being there? Psychological warfare is way worse than physical warfare when it comes to that. Because in physical, you have fight or flight, and then it ends. In psychological, you're still ruminating. So it's continual. It keeps happening. You're never out of it. Julia, exactly. Oh, Julia's here. So good to see you. Exactly. Or having a coffee pot full of mushy tea at the ready all the time. But yeah, that psychological warfare, like that's all the power they have. That's it. When you if all you've ever known is how to manipulate and lie, if that's all you've ever known to do, don't you think by 48, 49 years old, you're going to be a master of it? Master reader. When you're a therapist, when you've gone to school to be a therapist and you learn about psychopathy, sociopathy, narcissism, BPD, bipolar, schizophrenia, all that stuff, that's ammo. She was learning how to cover herself as a psychopath. Psychopaths have no empathy. They have forced empathy. They can be empathetic for certain things that helps them. So when you see crocodile tears because they got no money and their electric's off and they don't know how, oh, Methany, I'm so sorry that you didn't realize that your bill was due. And yeah, Methany's having a fit because there's no money. Well, maybe Methany, you should have planned better. But that's getting energy. When you live paycheck to paycheck, robbing Peter to pay Paul, it's like a gambler's addiction. That's like, it does the same thing that a gambler gets. She's a gambler without sitting at a machine. She's a gambler. And of all the addictions, any freaking person in the field will tell you, gamblers are the hardest addicts to break because they'll do anything for anything. They'll take a gamble on anything. She took a gamble on packing up her entire household, all of her children and her grandchildren. I think the dog had already passed at that point. It was very sick, but I think it was because they were sacrificing that dog. Back then, they were practicing before they got what they are right now. She took a gamble. She sold her house, did all that, then bought property in Alabama sight unseen from an FBI agent. That's a gamble, wouldn't you say? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a gambler. But to me, that would be a gamble. A very big one. with a huge dopamine hit. Oh, your mother was a gambler. Oh, Julia. Oh my goodness. Well, that makes perfect sense, Julia. And wasn't Cass like her little mini, your mother's mini? Like wasn't Cass like always with her? She's about to lose everything. That's for sure. She don't have nothing right now anyway. That's why she's on here grifting. But she's going to be in an orange jumpsuit by the end of this year. You watch. By the end of this year. Whew, that went through my whole body. Ooh. Oh, that just went through my whole body. I just got so excited on that. Oh, you did? That's wonderful, Julia. If there's anything that I can do to help and for anything that you need and what you're doing, please just call on me. I would be more than happy to help in any way. I feel like it will too, porcelain doll. But 2026, today is the fire horse. And all this pressure that we're putting on them, you're watching them crash out in real time. See, that's the funny thing about the truth. When you have the armor of truth with you, man, it's powerful. It's powerful. Especially when you couple that with being courageous. Truth and courage. They should have, when they had the chance, boy, because they ain't ever going to get that again. Never. Never, ever. I love the truth. I live by the truth. I live by the truth. And the truth is the truth until it's not true. So what that means is you can have truth until something comes on the field, and then you have to discern it, which one is more true. And then you move from there. That's how I operate. And sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I react too quickly, but I've learned on this path that it's not really an issue. It's not really a loss because it's not necessary. I'm still heading towards truth. So, but I do, like, if somebody is, if I was quick to cut somebody off or something like that, I'll go back and be like, look, I'm sorry, but what you were showing in that moment wasn't safe for me. We don't owe nobody nothing. If it's not safe for you on this planet, because ain't nobody got your back but you and your creator. If it's not safe for you, you don't owe anybody anything. Nothing. Last night in the live feed, I put a little circle of protection around Julia, man, because if you guys don't know who Julia is, this poor woman, I don't know her personally. Let me just preface that, okay? I don't know Julia personally. When I was in Minnesota, Julia wasn't there yet, and after I left is when Julia came out for a visit. However, I feel like I know Julia because from Cassie's limited perspective. But with demons, everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. And I knew that even back then. So I knew when she was talking about her sister that it wasn't real. Like, I knew it. But I just let her vent because everybody has trauma with their family and blah, 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 blah. But I didn't hold that in my heart. Like, if I met Julia in person, I wouldn't have judged her from that standpoint. You know what I mean? Because I have emotional intelligence, critical thinking skills. And it would have been clear within the first few minutes of meeting Julia that she's about what she's about. So last night in the live feed, my whole heart felt bad because this is, first of all, this is your sibling. And this is the stuff that you have to go through continually. I couldn't imagine being related to Cassie and having to deal with that. I just absolutely could not. And I just feel like people really have gone after her and said that what she was saying wasn't true, when all along we owe her an apology. Anyone that discounted Cassie's sister owes her an apology. And I just hope that she gets the support that she needs to be able to get her story out there, because it's dynamic. Like, I would watch that If Julia ever put a story together, I would 1,000,000% be like watching that because that would fill in so much stuff. I just feel like Julia hasn't really had a consistent platform to talk about these things, and if she didn't stay consistent in this, I don't think anybody else kind of would have. You know what I mean? When you have her own sister saying this is not true, that's going to make people question it, you know? They do. We need to create our own documentary. I'm just reading comments, you guys. I'm not real good about that just yet. That's why. Thank you, Porcelain Doll. They will put a pinned comment, like if there's something that I should see. So I appreciate that. You would think that they would stop and abort the mission, but they're more fueled now. They're absolute. Oh my God, me coming on the scene, they absolutely love that. They are getting support on there. Yes, Julia is Cassie's sister. She's in the chat. She just said good evening. Yes, Jay, they're absolutely a cult. 1,000,000%. They're a nonprofit and they're actually trying to start a church. They are a cult and they are psychopaths. So think about David Koresh. Like, I feel like that would be like her thing. That would totally be her thing. Are you kidding me? All these people worshiping her at her feet, and she could have control and dominion over what kind of questions they could ask her. So let's say that. Oh, let's circle back to that. Okay? So here you have these two women grifting, crying on live feeds, asking for money to go save the children. I'm the only one. I'm working 24 hours a day. I'm the only one that cares about these children, and I'll do it by myself, and blah, 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 blah. Please don't screenshot when I went like this. But then you have someone that works in MMIW, that's an advocate and an activist that has resources to help you to build up what you're trying to do. Okay. You've just rescued me from trafficking, from trafficking, being trafficked with a high Masonic level sacrificial thing that was going to go on. And I was there for 3 months. 3 months I was there, nonstop. You are a rescue team. The very first thing that I should have been able to do and had accessibility to when I got to your camp was a debrief. A debrief of everything that I just went through, everything that happened, no matter if it took 2 hours or 3 days to go through it. You should have provided me the support necessary to be able to talk about and go through what I just went through with a therapist that's a search and recovery agency, the only one in the nation, the best one in the nation for women and children. And you don't even allow me the opportunity to talk about what I just went through. All you wanted to know was details of the Masonic stuff. You didn't want to talk me through the trauma that I just went through. And when I started chatting about it, you would shut me down. Make that make sense. How are you supposed to be about women and children, trafficked women? And here you have someone that really trusted you, and you didn't even give up. You didn't offer any healing. You didn't offer any support. You abused me. You took advantage of my mental health in that moment, and you piggybacked on it. You know how disgusting you are, Cass, Britt, Dragon Lady? You are horrible human beings. But you know what? That's just for reference sake for TikTok, but you know, Brittany and Cass, you know that Michael and Karma walk with me. So when you saw me on that live tonight, when you read my name out loud, that's why you blocked me. That's why your faces went, and then you blocked me. Because karma comes with receipts, baby. Comes with receipts. And I've been giving them each and every time. You know, they're digging. They're going to be digging because they record everything. Oh, what was the point of her doing all this? Money. There's many layers. When you're dealing, yes, money is one. Money is always the motivator when you're dealing with people like this. Um, can I reiterate how I met her? I met her. I was I'm indigenous and I work in traditional medicine. I'm a seer. I have all the clairsenses. And at that time, I'm not public with this stuff anymore. I just work one-on-one as people need it, as it's called. But at the time, I had a pretty significant following working in spiritual work. So I helped people a lot. I did a lot of live feeds regarding like doing readings and helping people to walk in a good way and, you know, giving guidance, spiritual guidance and things like that. And so Cassie found me somehow. I started doing that in 2012, and I think Cassie found me maybe 2014, 2015 before I went to Standing Rock. My time frame is off on that. I had a lot of trauma in my life and stuff, so not real sure. But after I came back from Standing Rock is when Cassie and I really, when I really remember working with her. So she was a client of mine, and I worked with her for quite a while, and I taught her a lot. And she taught me a lot too. But then she blew out a crown chakra from doing like all those mushrooms, her and Britt. So what would happen is Brittany wasn't educated. Brittany was stupid. She didn't know about any of this stuff. She's a grifter. Like her whole entire life. See, Brittany's the head of the snake. Y'all, Brittany is the handler. Brittany grew up in the entertainment business. She had a really shitty life. She was on the road, passed around probably. She had a really crappy life. I'm not taking away from that. 17, she targeted Cassie's son Josh on a dating site. And I think she like moved into their house within 2 weeks and then got pregnant right away. Cassie hated her. I think they got into fist fights before. Like they hated each other. Because I feel like Cassie felt like Brittany was coming there to take over her house. Take over her life. Because that's what Brittany's about. That's how Brittany is. I always get their names fucked up. So sorry, you guys. Because they're one and the same. They're intertwined. So Brittany ended up with Josh. And she snaked her way in. And they have 2 kids together. But since then, after the death of Julia's mother and Cassie's mother, Cassie moved to where they moved, where I met them, like at her house. And I feel like Brittany took advantage of that situation of Cassie's grief and mourning. And I feel like Brittany used that as an opportunity. Julia, you don't know who has been charged with criminally? Which person? Both. They're one and the same, my girl. And so, but anyhow, that's how I knew Cassie. And then I stopped chatting with Cassie and having anything to do with her in 2019 because Julia hit this for me the other night on a live. Julia happened to be out there visiting, and one night there was a bunch of weird stuff. Julia can give a better awareness around it because I was on this end of it. Cassie was video calling me and text messaging me about Julia being there and saying that, lo and behold, she's a demon. There's weird things happening. I don't know what's going on. I need to get her out of my house. She's here to me. And I'm like, girl, what? Like, what? What are you even talking about right now? And so when she didn't get a response that she wanted out of me, then she started sending weird text messages to my house and to my phone. They ordered pizza one night, and she's like, I don't know even know how this pizza got here, and somebody's setting me up, and there was a note written on the pizza, and you do need to write a book, Julia. You really do. And I think all of us would support you in that. 1,000%. Look at the hearts are going up. We would totally support you in that. Oh my goodness. 1,000% we would. Yeah. You know why Brittany and Cassie can't write books about themselves? That's why they have these other books. Is because they stole everyone's identity. And people could sue them because it would only be a compilation of other people's stories. Nothing would be original about them. Oh, it's so therapeutic, Julia. I really hope that you do it. Oh man, that would be whoo. Do you know how empowering that would be? To put your story to pen? That would be forever sealed in history. That's why Cassie wanted to do books. And that's why they want to do music, because it's forever. It's a forever catalog. She wants to be revered. She wants people to be thinking she's the almighty of all. I mean, for crying out loud, she said she was the Christ. She said she was the Christ. She's so blasphemous. She mocks God all of the time. She mocks all of you right in your faces. They're crazy. They're crazy. I do too, Mama Lou. I just got on here. I've only been on here a few days. You can go back and see my videos. I got on here. I think you caught that bit because somebody showed me their 10 million view about her being on the island. And I'm trying to get everyone that's been collaborating, but I don't want to step on toes because there's been some investigators that have been doing this for a really long time. And but we need to put like a timeline together, and we need to set the stage. And I really, that's part of the reason why I'm doing these lives, is because I want to start bringing people on to talk about this stuff, so I could start like kind of interviewing them and put, and so people could save the videos, so then we could put it in a chronological order. Do you know what I mean? And so then we can share it on like a documentary, so everyone could see what's happening. Because here's how this works. The world stage right now with similar things, Beyond Duality Inc. is like this big compared to the rest of it, okay? And I explained this in my video in my live last night. That's a frequency. It's all connected to the same frequency and energy. So with that world stage going on, the reason why that's not moving is because people like Brittany and Cass are sitting here and people are holding them in this space. If we pull the string on people like Brittany and Cass, that pulls that world stage closer to us so that we could pop that too. But they keep you focused on that big world stage one, so that you don't look at people like Brittany and Cass. That's how they get away with it. And then they confuse and chaos you by sharing things like that. Oh, I was on the island. But you know you weren't. Okay, we're gonna debunk that right now. When did the island become incorporated? What year? What year did the island become incorporated? You want me to tell you? 1998. How old, Julia, how old would Cassie have been in 1998? '17? No, she would not have been 17 in 1998. Yeah, Mama Lou. That's what psychopaths do. People are too focused on the details. She was born in 74. She's older than me. She was not on that island. Where was she at that age? I mean, come on, you all. This ain't hard. You know what I mean? What's hard is when she sends her flying monkeys to act like when you question stuff that you're the problem. Delete, destroy, and uncreate that. So where was she when she was 20? So that let's give that something to ponder for y'all. That's right, Suba. They don't do their independent research anymore. You know, they get on here and they do these videos and they go, oh, I saw a video regarding Britney. Oh, okay. So you don't have any working knowledge of what you saw or did, but you're going to do a video about it. I'm just using Britney as the example because that's what we're talking about. But I'm saying in general, nobody really does their own research anymore. You were born in 74 and you're 51. So if she was born in 74 and you're 51, Porcelain Doll, how old were you in 1998? Fourteen. She would have been 20 because I had my child at 18 and my child was born in 1995. So 3 years after that, I would have been 21. So she would have been somewhere between, we don't really know her age. So she would have been somewhere between, because she has a couple different birth certificates. So somewhere between 21 and 24 years old. Where was she located between those years? She won't answer them, Mama Lou. She absolutely would not answer them. She would have had her third child, Julia. That third child, she went to the islands and got pregnant. Is that what she's going to say next? She would have been in Colorado Springs. So that's where you start, y'all. Go back, 1998, Colorado Springs, and you start digging. It's not hard. Was the Pope in Colorado Springs in 1998? I mean, this is. I still don't understand the simplest way to get foot on that property. I still understand how none of you have called for a wellness check on those animals that she has that Beyond Duality farm, and they show those animals and stuff like that. Like, they're gamblers, so they're gonna do things right out in the open to see if they can get away with it because they get high off of it. They get off on it. Oh, you have good discernment then, Mystic Mama. Frauditor Reaper. You have what? You called for wellness check on the animals? When? Illinois, California, Colorado, Georgia, and Texas is where Cassie has lived. Pope Francis, when was the youth conference for his visit? Yeah, check into that. Where was he? Oh, it's a rabbit hole, Julie J. It's a rabbit hole. These people have been doing this for 4 years. I'm not talking about people we're talking about. I'm talking about the people that have been investigating them for 4 years. We've been trying. Well, they've been trying. I'm just back on the scene. You put a call in for the animals yesterday? Good, yes. Love it. Oh, it's tea. I got all the tea, man. I have critical thinking skills. I can't be do what I do in the fields that I do them in without this kind of stuff. Come on. This is what I do. I dissect every little thing, but you got to give it to me. You got to give me the info so I can do it. Yeah, they're batshit crazy. Somebody just said that. It went by too fast. They are both batshit crazy. Well, yeah, tea and truth seekers, man, that's where it's at. And, people that are just tired of being abused. Timeline with dates would drive her into slur. Yes, yes. And we all owe this kid, their name is Evergreen System. They pieced it together in 2023. And a lot of people slammed them. And Cassie learned about DID from this person because they have DID. So search out Evergreen System. They got some tea. You got to go back, though. You got to go back into it, but they got some tea. And it'll start to make sense. Brittany is the head of the snake. Brittany is the puppeteer. Brittany is the top dog. Brittany controls it all. Brittany is her daughter-in-law. Brittany is married to Cassie's son, Josh. That bit right there is a little bit sad. I'm saddened by that because I got to know Josh and I felt a nice little like nephew connection to him. He has such a spark. He had such a spirit within him. He was just he had a beautiful spirit within him. And then Brittany got a hold of him and I hadn't seen them in a few years. And when I ended up on the compound and I saw him, he barely even spoke to me. She kept the kids from me, which is weird. They never interact with the children. Josh was the house bitch, property bitch. He did everything. And they set him up. He has charges just like them, so he can't ever work the work that he was doing before and stuff like that. I don't know anything about Allie Carter. I don't even know who that is. Uh, yeah, that's questionable, isn't it, Mama Lou? I asked Julia point blank if she thought that the two of them were in a relationship. She said no. It's iffy for me. Before they had the compound, I would say absolutely not. Absolutely not. But after seeing them on the compound and knowing what's in them and the Jezebelian spirits that are within them right now, and all the other spirits that are within them right now, yes, 1,000,000%. I believe that when they are on the road together, they are intimate together. I really do believe that. And if it's not like an actual schmegsual intimacy, it's a in something type of intimacy because you can emotionally be in CEST. You know where I'm going? You can be emotionally like that with someone. So if someone is emotionally needy all the time, like Cassie is, Brittany could absolutely get in there and be like her partner and her husband and the role of all that. She married Colin when she was 17. So is Colin I thought Colin was her second husband. That's her first husband? All right, Julia, have a great night. Thank you for being here. Cassie very much is engulfed by Brittany. But that's the other thing. When you're dealing with Masonic and demonic and all those things, when you're dealing with ritualistic things, they're all like that. They're all like that. There's no boundary with that. Really appreciate you being here, Julia. Have a good night. And that makes her uncomfortable, you guys. Maybe when Julia's visiting, because she doesn't really pop in very often for people when she's visiting, maybe let's be mindful. That's still her sister. Okay, let's be mindful of things like that. That might make her a little uncomfortable. And we want to make sure that everyone is respected so that they can have a voice. And that's my own fault too, because I engaged it, but I didn't think of it until just now. You know what I mean? So it's teaching curve for everybody. Pope John Paul was in Colorado in August of 1993 for World Youth Day. Okay, where was Cassie that day? How old would Cassie have been in 1993? I would have been, if I was born in 76, in 1993, I would have been 17, 16, right? No, I would have been, yeah, I would have been 16. So wasn't she supposedly like 8 or something? 19. Would have been 19. Okay. 15 to 19. That's still not the age range for what she's saying happened to her. So you see what I'm saying? We got it. That's why this is that 5GW, confusion and chaos, psychological mind warfare. This is what she's using. This is textbook out of that. That's why Mama Lou, even like we've been chatting, Mama Lou's like she would lose her mind once we have a timeline. Because then she could be questioned. They don't like direct questions. The more you ask a direct question, the more they will circle. I don't mean just them. I mean psychopaths, cult leaders, abusers. There's people that really enjoy the drama of this stuff because it's all they know. It's all they got. Their husband don't want to pay no attention to them. Their kids don't care. They're off doing whatever. They ain't got nothing better to do. So they like this drama kind of stuff between like the beyond duality. So they just keep perpetuating it. You know what I mean? But now you got real people that are like, nah, this is ending. So those people are going to start to have problems with people like me because it's going to ruin their little saga. No, 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 Mama Lou. No, 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 no. These are, I mean, I'm just, pattern recognition is just one of the things that I pick up on. And anytime anyone asks about that, she kind of dips out. I could just be assuming, you know what I mean? And I don't ever want to. But I also want to be mindful that we're respecting everybody, because it's already bad enough that these two abusers have abused so many people, but there's so much involved here. It's like really challenging to honor everyone. So no worries, Mama Lou. And hey, I want to just say, I didn't get a chance to say that to you earlier. You didn't trigger me when you posted that. You did a beautiful thing by posting that because that backed up what I was saying last night. So I'm really grateful for that. I know all of what I'm risking being here, and I had to make sure that I was in a good mental health way and all that stuff. So I'm doing all of this in a good way. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't vape. I fast all day long with water, and then I eat at night after we're all done with this. Like I stay spiritually, I'm a hitter. You know what I mean? But you're totally good, Mama Lou. No worries. Yep. And Halls, can you just tell people why you have that ability to say that, if you don't mind? Can you just give them a little understanding of where you live and your awareness? Why this is important? That'd be great. Halls. People like who? You're so funny. But yeah, so if we, this is, get it, Halls. Tell him who you are, girl. Hey, you know, come on. We never run out of gas, birdie birds. But I do want to kind of circle back that people were talking about, are they a cult? Yes, they are a cult. And if we don't stop them right now, they are going to be a David Koresh cult. They already have a nonprofit. That's nothing to be a church. Do you know how much money they'll get just off that alone? Not including the cult of it. That's the question. Who, I think it's Beyond Duality Inc. is their nonprofit. Beyond Duality Inc. So yeah, they will definitely, if this is not checked, if we don't check this, they're just gonna grow bigger. And not that they're big right now, because clearly they live in filth and squalor. I mean, Britney's toilet, it was great for the kids, but Britney's toilet literally was like maybe 8 inches from the ground. And her bathroom floor, I think there was videos, they were talking about her bathroom floor falling through. So there's some people sharing misinformation. They're making up their own shit. They hear details, they make up their own shit and make their videos. Don't listen to that garbage. Unless you hear it from the horse's mouth, don't listen to garbage from other people. Um, when I was there, that was the bathroom that I had to use a lot because Cassie really didn't want me in her RV. So Brittany would let me use her bathroom because the bathroom that I was bringing them money to build out wasn't built yet. So when I would go into their bathroom to use the toilet, it was already, it was shorter than a kindergartner's toilet in a kindergartner's stall bathroom. You know what I'm talking about? You know, those really low toilets that they have? It was already way lower than that. And then I guess that floor rotted out. And so I'm not sure what they said on the video, but I think that the floor fell through or I don't know. So I don't even know if they're using that bathroom. They have a shitter now, I guess. The money I gave them and the material that Colin allegedly stole from his job, you know, they got stuff built out. They have like an office built now and a couple other things after, but that's all from your guys' money that they did that. My money that I gave them. I didn't give them a whole lot of money because I was pretty smart about it, but I think total, like you guys saw the scene, that was only two. I also had PayPal, but I don't have accessibility to that PayPal anymore. So I think I also gave them money on PayPal. So I think total of like $1,000, not including like my time, my energy, and the abuse that I went through. Okay, House. No. Yes and no. So they publicly asked people for money, Reaper, for to build out their compound. They publicly asked for that. So when you do see things built, it does look like they're using that money. But what you're not seeing is that it took them an extremely long amount of time to get that bathroom built when they had that money hand over fist numerous times. I mean, Colin told me total it was like $750 to build out the complete bathroom. I offered him 500. So from August of 2023 till summer of 2024 or whenever that year of 2024 when they finished building that bathroom, where was that money? So they get money from people They go on these lives, they ask for the money, and then they rob Peter to pay Paul. They're gambling. I mean, they're not actually gambling like at a casino that I know of, but they are taking that money and then going on road trips and hoping a Hail Mary that they have enough gas to get from point A to point B. Well, that's them gambling. Every time they're like, oh, we got to go on a road trip and we got to go and we have no money and we need shoes and we're going to do it on a prayer. A prayer to Satan? What demon prayer are you saying? Like, they are literally bamboozling each and every one of those people. That they're good at it, Paula. They're very good at it. Cassie comes from a mother that did the same thing. Cassie saw her mother doing it, but back then her mother did it with MySpace. Or people that she encountered in person. She learned grifting from her mother, watching her mother, and then she became better than her mother. She goes further than her mother has, according to Julia. And I could say that because I was on a live feed with Julia when she was discussing it. Not that I heard it off of a video. Oh, very seasoned. Very seasoned. Her and Brittany were both groomed. If you missed that part earlier, I said that Brittany's been groomed in the industry since she was a child. It's kind of, well, yeah, that's a little bit of a slur word, so we gotta be careful of that word. But yes, it's very much like that. Very much. That's why I didn't say that word, because I don't know how TikTok what they'll do if I say it. But yes, you're absolutely right. Exactly, Halls. Exactly. Mama Lou, did you do a video off of that? And are you doing like I'm curious to know what you're doing, because that got me hooked. I was like, oh, who is this? Oh, you're gonna do a live? Make sure you let me know. Okay, Reaper. Make sure you let me know when you go live, please. That would be amazing. And listen, anything that I'm sharing about my story, um, if you guys feel bad for me and you want to send me money and stuff like that, please don't. Please send it to MMIW. Please send it to Real Search and Rescue programs. As you could see, I'm okay. And I love that people have amazing hearts and things like that, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to, like, not that anyone's like really begging to do that, but I just want to put that disclaimer out there. I'm here to just give you the truth of my story, and that if you feel so called to do stuff, I can share with you like MMIW links that you can donate to. That would be so amazing, because they always need support, because they're real. That's a real program. Oh, okay. So you stay in like a consistent mode then, Mama Lou. So like if there's a hot topic, you continue with the topic on your lives, so that everyone that's new and coming in, everyone, that's important. That's important, because the consistency is where the truth lies. Remember that. I mean, some people like me, we have ADHD brains, so it might vary a little bit, but the premise, the foundation of truth should never falter. It should always be the same. That would be fantastic, Mama Lou. Oh, that would be amazing. And you could research it, but if you have a feeling like you want to just double check the program, just hit me up and I'll let you know. Or if you want me to send you a link. But yeah, any MMIW program will really be amazing. That's amazing, Mama Lou. Oh, that's so amazing. I love that. That's a great idea. That we need that. You're like this. So I keep seeing things, I see things on like a playing field. So what I keep seeing is that each person has a tier or a space or a level or an expansion, and each person has a necessary aspect component of that machine, so to speak. So by Mama Lou staying consistent like that and holding that space. So if she's like the welcome center, any topic, right? She does a welcome center live feed. I just keep banging it into people. Anybody new that shows up, they get all the same information. That's amazing. We all collectively have to come together. The only unity and community. That's the only way we're going to be able to take these people down. Yeah, we definitely all have to work together because that's the only way. The reason why they've gotten away, Beyond Duality Inc., the reason why they've gotten away with what they've gotten away with is because the division between people. So they have their little flying monkeys that will go and make these videos. And sometimes these flying monkeys make videos to make themselves look like a victim to Beyond Duality. And you'll know it's fake because they'll have you spinning. They won't have if you ask them a question, they won't be able to directly answer you, or they'll start going off into a tangent about something else, or they'll stay on the same topic. Like, anyhow, that's how people are not able to really like do something. And then the other part is not a lot of people understand the law. Like, they don't understand that when they came and got me from Canada, that's international law. When they took me where I was being trafficked and brought me back to Alabama to traffic me there, that's RICO case right there. I mean, these people, this is them being gamblers. They took a gamble because it gave them a rise to get through it. How do you take me through border? How do you take me through the border? We got pulled over and I thought it was me. I thought I flagged it because of my activism work. And how do we get through the border and you have paraphernalia? You have big pharma paraphernalia. You have big pharma meds. Okay? Like, them kind of meds. You got paraphernalia and you got drugas with you. How do we get out and just go? How are you not detained? How are you not arrested? She was in a separate room from Brittany and I for a long time. And then she came out and she's like, all right, guys, have a great night. Thanks. It was like 1:00 in the morning. That's on record. What she doesn't get, all that's logged. That's nothing to get a subpoena to get that record. Man. But people go, well, they can't be that stupid. Well, they're not that stupid. They're gamblers. They're gamblers. When you look at everything that they do from the lens of a gambler, it all starts to make sense. And they're psychopaths, right? So like if you start to look at it through those lenses, you see a whole different story than what they spellcasted over everyone. Oh, is Kimberly in here? Because I know she's following me now. Yeah, I was trafficked internationally. Outside of the United States is international. Canada's outside the United States. Kimberly, do you need help? I'll help you. Kimberly, if you need help, I'll help you. I'll come get you. If you need help, Kimberly, we're here to help you. You don't need to go if you have an enhanced license. If you have an enhanced driver's license, you don't need a passport. Thank you, Doobie. I appreciate that. I had an enhanced license. That's why I didn't need a passport. I'm also Native American. I have dual citizenship. My biggest concern really is Kimberly now. Because I told y'all, I had survivor's guilt over leaving Natasha behind. And don't you find it funny that once Natasha left, Kimberly filled in the spot? I mean, that's pretty funny, isn't it? Although Kimberly's lasted the longest. That concerns me. And I'm sure they're exploiting Kimberly. I'm sure Kimberly's working and having to give them money and having to take care of them. And I'm sure Kimberly's got a car and all those things. I'm sure Kimberly's being exploited by them. There was no unaccompanied children across the border. They have, you can't bring in an unaccompanied, you cannot bring children across the border. All right, listen, y'all. If you've never left the country, you cannot bring children across the border that are not yours. And a lot of the time, I was a mother that would cross the border because the reservation that I lived on was the Ugwazusni Mohawk Reservation that borders New York State and Canada. We had our own Indian lane where we would not be messed with Customs and Border Patrol. And each and every time that we went through our own lane with our own children, we were pulled over and we had to carry their birth certificates, their social security cards. There is no way that these women brought children across the border. None. Unless they smuggled them. That's the only way. How is that? I don't get how people didn't even question this. So basically, if they're saying that they brought children across the border, they're admitting to their RICO case. They're admitting that they smuggled children across the border. You guys, this is not, they're gamblers. They're going to gamble with everything that they do because they have to get high off of it. If they brought children across that border, they smuggled them. I'm not sure how long Kimberly has been there, but it's a significant amount of time. They are never questioned. Because the people that they're targeting just don't know no better. They're just kind and compassionate and loving people living their lives for the most part. Some of them are on SSI. Some of them are on Social Security because they're disabled, retired. Some of these people are on food stamps and Medicaid, and they're giving their last bit of money because they know what it's like to be in the foster care system to these women who are playing on them, saying they got to go rescue these children. Think about that. I'm sorry. I'm getting... But the more I think about this, I'm like, how has no one stepped up? How do they know if the children are actually with parents and not fake IDs? You have to go through a rigorous process. Have you ever tried to get a new driver's license? John Walsh is not her father. It'll be 5 years of this. But that's how cults work. A lot of cults don't even get caught until they're many, 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 many years into it. They are textbook in everything that they do. Go look up cultism. They studied all the cults. I've been there. I've talked with them about this stuff. They've studied all of this stuff. If there were degrees, they would have masters. Five years, Mama Lou. We gotta do something, girl. We gotta do something. So then, Sharon, if you know, then why are you asking me? So the same thing that you would have to go through pretty much to get your driver's license, you pretty much have to show that proof each and every time you go through the border. It's a big deal. You have to prove who you are and you have to prove your child. Now, Indigenous people don't have to do that because we have status cards and things like that. But they still harass us and we still have to do those things because we have to comply. It's deep. I mean, all these people that have been the people that have been talking about the TikTok, we call it TikTok trials. The people that have been talking about the TikTok trials are only focusing on the things that are going to keep the drama going. I'm talking about real stuff, real convictions, real real law, real things that I'm aware of in the work that I've done to convict them. For fuck's sakes, I went to the federales today. As an Indigenous activist, you just don't do that. Especially if you're on lists. You don't do that. But that's how serious I am. That's why I said earlier, if you guys really are about this, then I'll keep moving forward. But if I don't have the support, I'm not going to put myself at risk. I don't mean at risk. Listen, I don't mean at risk because of Beyond Duality. I mean at risk because of the work that I've done in the past. Sharon, what? My God. So whatever happened to Brittany? I thought she wanted to co-host. So anyhow, um there's going to be more live feeds because I spent a significant amount of time there in that month. A lot went down. And I want to talk a little bit more about this psychological warfare because that's what they have over everybody right now. And I can't say it enough. This 5GW, you guys really go check that book out. That book was written by one of their co-conspirators. Their brother-in-law wrote that. So the co-conspirator's husband, who is co-conspirating with his wife, his brother wrote that book. So Brittany and Kat, that other woman are liars. Yes, 1,000%, Wendy. 1,000,000%. Yes, Cassie. Wendy, that woman. Julia. No, 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 no. One of their co-conspirators. I don't want to name them in here right now. Her brother-in-law wrote that book, 5GW. Yeah, Wendy, I'm sorry. Yeah, they definitely are liars. Yeah, the one that called us demons today, Halls. Oh, that's right, Mama Lou. Yeah, me too, girl. Me too. That's nothing. Who keeps talking about receipts? That they got receipts? Whatever. I mean, receipts of what? The only thing that I shared with them was people that I know, trying to get work done for them. And when I realized that they were recording me, I've said this from day one. When I realized that they were recording me because of like the context I have and stuff like that, I would just lie to them. That you ain't getting information out of me. They would start doing some story. Oh yeah. I would just agree with them just to get them out the space. I didn't feel safe. So at some points, because I didn't feel so safe, because I felt like they were about to, I would drop names. Even people that I only met like once or twice, just so that they would think in that moment, oh, maybe she might have been in contact with them. You know, you got to stay ahead of the psychological warfare. And there was 2 of them doing it to me. And I feel like they had a DEW in that cookhouse that they had me in. Somebody did a video saying that they called it a cookhouse. That's not true. That person, they're not factual. They're just taking people's information and they're twisting it and putting videos out. I called it a cookhouse because I didn't know what else to call it. And also I need to correct that. That same person did a video saying that I said it was a dog bed that they gave me to lay on that was covered in dog piss. That's not true. That's not what I said. What I said was it was a mattress, a dirty mattress that smelled like piss on the floor with a dirty ass blanket over it. That's what I said. The goats? What do you want me to say about the goats? Which part do you want me to say about the goats? Which part? Oh, about how I said that she was sacrificing goats? No, I didn't say she was sacrificing goats. But I said, um, is that what you're talking about? Yeah, they probably are spiraling. I never said that they sacrificed goats. Thanks, Julie J. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's kind of light right now in the stuff that we're talking about, but there's a lot more here. Like, just to take you up to speed, like they did come get me. They did come get me in Canada. I did ask them to come get me. I had no other choice, but I was being sacrificed to the highest levels of Masonic Temple in Canada, in Ontario. And Brittany did a video which was unsafe. She put my location of where I was, where they went to get me, and she also put a picture, probably one of the worst pictures of me, purposefully. She got a picture of me as I'm bent over picking up my stuff to put into the trunk. And so she was leaned out the side of the car with the camera like this. And she's like, hey, Nikki. And I went like this as I was picking stuff up. And I like bent over with my hands on my knees. And I went like that at her. And I have short, blonde, like platinum, very pixie cut hair. And that's the picture she chose. So, and then people had commented that I had a wiener and that it looked like I was peeing, and they were just being stupid. But yeah, I did ask them to come get me. They came and got me. When they got there, the person that was holding me took a picture of the vehicle, and Cassie said to Brittany somewhere along the lines of like, they're going to be really shocked or they're going to be really surprised that little old Beyond Duality Inc. took me from them. So yeah, it's just high Masonic shit and sacrificial things, and that Cassie and Brittany were a part of. Like some of these conversations, they are going to incriminate themselves with their audio files and their videos. When I talked to the feds today, they even said that. They said they recorded everything, and I said, yeah, they have audio files and video files, and they said, well, don't they know that that could be used against them? That could be subpoenaed. Especially if they have videos and evidence that says that they have videos. So like when you do this, and you come on here and you say, yeah, we record for our own safety and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter what you're telling them. When a court looks at that, when a jury looks at that, and when an attorney puts that in order and lays out the storyboard for the jury, I mean, look at us right now piecing it together. We're only getting parts of like the story. Could you imagine when a DA gets a hold of it on a RICO case? I mean, what's the definition of racketeering? They're just digging. Give them the rope, man. Give them the rope. All we're supposed to do is let them spiral out, let them crash out, and then save all their videos. And then you go to that video that I did earlier with the tip line, and you send it to the tip line. You text it to them. That's all. That's all you do. Anonymous tip line. I did a video about it. They have a number to text. You just send them the video. It's not hard. And each and every time somebody sends something, they have to investigate it. Because if you have multiple people from multiple places reporting the same exact person or people or organization or location, they have to investigate that. We might not even have to even finish going to talk to the federales. If everyone on this app that is invested in Beyond Duality Inc. and is sick of their shit goes to my video that I post where you can report an anonymous tip, and each and every single person posts, they could be charged in 2 weeks. That's why it's crazy to me that I don't understand why creators didn't come on here and guide you guys like that and tell you like, hey, are we going to do something about this? Because, there's laws. Like you can't be a nonprofit. You can't be a recovery service in Alabama for children without a license. No one investigated that. Where's her license for it? You can't even have a daycare in a state without a license. You think you're going to be able to take trafficked children to your property without a license? You think ICWA and CPS ain't concerned about these children that you're talking about? Interstate fraud as well, yep. Oh, you want to go down? You want to go deeper down the rabbit hole? You want to go deeper? You want to know why? You want to hear my theory of why they get away with all this stuff? You ready? Cassie was delivering. She was a delivery person when she lived in Minnesota. That's how she paid for her tummy tuck. And when they sold their house, before they moved, they owed more than they could get out of it. And she didn't realize that. And she tried to blame the realtor and all kinds of shit. She is forever the victim. It's always everybody else, not Cassie. And so I believe that Cassie and Brittany, on one of their delivery drop-offs or pickups, that they got picked up. And at the time of when they were selling their house. And I believe that their house sold. And they were in the middle of dealing with delivery issues. And in order to get out of that, they gave up the person that they were picking up deliveries from in California. And then that person in California had a girlfriend that I know as Natasha. And somehow Natasha got linked up with them back in Alabama because I think they rolled on that person that they were picking deliveries up from in California. They rolled on him. And then they boned out to Alabama because they had nowhere else to go, because now you're got a criminal charge. Any real estate that you have going on could be revoked. So they were desperate. And I think they caught a deal with an ex-FBI agent that was selling a plot of land in Alabama that was near Florida where she wanted to be. And they got it for cheap because on the land, the tenant that he sold it to prior to, on the property, in the house, in the trailer that burnt up, that was still on the property when I was there. It's since gone, but at that time. So I think that that person that she bought the property from, because hear this, the person that she bought the property from lives next to her, lives next door. Then her property, then his mother's property, then like his brother's property. They all live on one strip. She lives, don't you think that's weird? Would you go buy property smack dab in the middle of a family line that all still live there? That all the families still live there? On a private dirt road. That don't seem weird. That don't seem odd. So I think what she did is when she got caught, she said, "Oh my God, I was only doing this because I was trying to save the children. We're trying to sell our house and we're trying to move to Alabama because we're dedicating, our whole family is dedicating ourselves to the children." And then you have the FBI going, "Oh, really? Oh, you want to go catch traffickers? Cool. With these felonies? Cool. Yeah, we'll hook you up. We'll help you out. We'll protect you. Give us who you got this from." So she did. That's my theory. Allegedly. And when I got the detail, it took me 24 hours. As soon as I got all the details, see, this is why the chaos and confusion and why nobody wanted to tell me anything and why they didn't want me to know any information. Because it took me 24 hours of being on TikTok to piece together that theory. And they got themselves in further trouble in Florida. You all know about that because you all reported on it. And I think they lost their protection when that happened. I think they got them out of that and said, "This is the last time we're helping you," and that's that. And then when you look at when that closed out in Florida, everything about them declined after that. Everything. It's all in timelines, y'all. You just gotta take a look at the field from a further perspective. That's all. We're looking at it like this when you gotta like pull it back and take a look at everything else. Then you have to go back and look at things through a different lens with new information. I don't know, Julia. What do you think? How far off am I? What do you think, Julia? Do you think that's pretty accurate or no? Not far at all? So, I mean, I'm sure there's way more details involved in that. But yeah, I feel like that's pretty much where we're at with it. They spun this whole whimsical, magical, like they got this spell on people, like collective spell. And those are real. It's real. But I mean, it only works on certain people though. People that are impressionable, people that are manipulatable. Not you, Julia, not at all, man. You were. Julia, listen, if you did not stay consistent in this, I don't think any of us would be on this path right now, to be honest. Thank you. I'm really grateful for you. Freedom, I just suffered a lot through a lot of dark shit. I know how people work. And I know how things work. So that's all. Giving me too much credit. But thank you. I mean, it's very unfortunate, and that's just what she does. And I mean, Julia, this was out of her own sister's mouth. She learned it from her mother. Could you imagine being Julia and having to live in that? And oh my God. That's another reason why, like, there's so many layers to why I want to make sure that they end up in the orange jumpsuits. But for her, for Julia, of all people, for Julia, She's been the warrior that's been standing strong this whole time. Yes, and Paula, 1000%. I hope I caught it in a good way, Julia. So again, I just want to circle back to something that I spoke on a little bit, kind of off topic, but I know I'm just learning that there's ways to like earn on these things and stuff like that. I'm not on here for that. So if you guys want to do stuff and you want to feel like you want to, if you are abundant and blessed in that way and you want to financially support things, please check out MMIW accounts, anything not on TikTok, but websites. There's tons of programs with MMIW, which is Murdered and Missing Indigenous Women and People and Children. Two Spirits as well. There's so many programs out there. You can even support by buying shirts. You can buy gear like hats and jackets and t-shirts and sweaters and sweatshirts and socks and pins. And there's all kinds of ways to support. Please, I'm asking, I'm begging, if you do not give them money. Do not give Beyond Duality money. Please research MMIW programs. Please give the money if you are looking to help people. Please give it to them. Exactly, porcelain doll. Give them nothing, Julia. That's right. They get nothing. Don't even give them your energy. See, they're feeding on that. When they can't get money, they feed off of your emotions. That's why they stir you up. That's psychological warfare 101. They do that in the news. Okay, so let me just educate you real quick. If you already know this, great. You can add more in the comments. But if you're not aware of this is all about teaching. And if you're not aware of this, the psychological warfare of the way things that people put stuff out there, they play on your emotions. So they know code words. When she talks about kill switch, she's talking about code words. They know words that are going to influence you, that are going to infect you. And they know how to use those words and how to use those words so that it plays on you, on your emotions and your compassion and your bank account. And they'll go on these live feeds and they'll grift. They'll give sob stories. They'll talk about stuff. They'll give you cool little details about things, make you think they're knowledgeable, all that kind of stuff. It's just all ick. It's all, I'm not going to lie. we're all friends here. Every time I've done these videos, I have to go take a shower after. I just feel so ick from talking about them that I feel like I'm slimed with like some dark shit. So I have to shower after talking about them. They're just so gross. Oh, she don't want your energy, Julia. That's for fucking sure. Man, send her fireballs, Julia. No, don't let me. Don't let me. Oh man, it's overwhelming and consuming for sure. But that's the psyop. That's what it does. It does that purposefully, because as a person that was there on their compound and they were using this weaponry on me to abuse me, it's very disorienting. You don't know what's right. You don't know what's real. You don't know. You're always reading in between the lines when they talk. You're always looking for the hidden meaning in what they're saying. You're always looking for the hidden camera. You're always looking for the hidden microphone. You can't talk to anyone. You can't even trust your phone when you walk away, because they're cloning your phone. They're taking all of your information off your phone, so you can't even contact people. I couldn't even use my phone out there. Every time I try to use my phone, I had no service. Like I couldn't, I was imprisoned without being imprisoned. I don't know how to describe that. I had no way out. I didn't know where I was. I had no transportation. I'm on a dirt road by FBI agent in his family's house. I don't know how far I am from the nearest town. I don't know how far I am from the nearest airport. I can't use my phone. I can't access my GPS. I'm getting hit with a DEW weapon inside their cookhouse. I mean, I was a prisoner. I'm going to call it what it was. I was a prisoner and I was abused. It's really, that's why, I would love, even, okay, I'm sitting here debating. If I had to choose between seeing Cassie and Brittany in orange jumpsuits, and we all know how much joy that brings me, or getting Kimberly out safely, I would 1,000,000% every single day get Kimberly out safely. So that made my heart feel good that she was on here early, or they, I don't know how to address you, Kimberly, so I'm sorry. That they, I'll just say that they were on here earlier because that Natasha would do the same thing. Natasha would do the same thing. And I would try to get her out. And she would tell me no. And then finally she blocked me. You could put him in the orange jumpsuits, Julia, and we'll get Kimberly out. All right. Or both. Why can't we do both? Do you know how amazing that would be? Let's just do both. Let's put out the possibility right now from our heart chakras, okay? Let's put out the possibility of freeing Kimberly and getting Kimberly to safety in a good way and seeing Cassie and Brittany in orange jumpsuits. Oh, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? That would be amazing. All right, Mama Lou, and listen, if you ever want to, if you want to do an interview or whatever, I'd be more than happy. Anytime that we can get this truth out there and reach more people, because we got to keep this pressure on, full court press right now, and you all are doing a great job. You're doing amazing work. If you don't know who to follow right now, there's some people in here that probably could just type it up real quick. Is it Desert Sage? Desert Sage 8888. That's a good one. Tish, why can't I remember that? The one with the sword. That one's a good one. Why can't I? Tricks. Ooh. So if you could follow Tricks, that would be a good one as well. Halls, that's been in here, that's a good one to follow as well. And you're seeing in real time those other content creators that are going to be creating content. Please follow them. The ones that have been in here talking and engaging, please go follow them as well, because there's a lot of people that are coming new on this porcelain doll. Yes, her too, or them too. There's a lot of new content creators that are coming in here that have cognitive thinking, like critical thinking skills and investigative skills, and they are putting content together. So don't keep watching the old same people that are defending them and all that. No. It's time, switch that up now. Get with the content creators that are right now in real time doing the investigative work and really putting action. You want to follow the people that are doing action, not the people that are doing the TikTok trial. Does that make sense? So when you put your energy with the people that are actually doing action, moving forward, you're helping that. You're helping that energy to happen. If you keep engaging the people that keep just doing the TikTok trial back and forth, then you're just engaging that and you're giving your energy into that. I'm not saying you can't go watch that and see the drama, because we're human and we enjoy the drama sometimes, but really focus on the people that are moving forward with this for criminal charges, because these women need to be taken down for the peace of the family, of their own family members, and for the victims, and victims like me that had to suffer through their abuse, and all of you that were grifted on and taken advantage of. The truth really is starting to come out. Intentions are everything. You gotta be careful with that though too, because like Mama Lou, I love you. You get me thinking on stuff. You help me to be able to give some teaching stuff. So thank you for your presence. You're just you're amazing. Um, Intentions are everything until you're dealing with somebody like Cassie, who uses that word and weaponizes it and goes, "Oh, my intentions are so good. My intentions are so pure. I only want to save the children. I do this 24 hours a day." That's manipulation. But I feel like the people in here, wouldn't you say, Mama Lou, like that people are starting to learn through their discernment of like who they can really see who's about it and who's not, like people are starting to really see what's happening here. So it just takes a little bit of time for it to kind of trickle through the collective. Bitchin explains, right? Not bitch explains. Bitchin explains. Laura, I'm not sure. I can't remember, but yes, that's a good one as well. I don't know who ML is, but I'd be curious to check that out. Yeah, so if you guys have anyone that you think should be dropped, drop them in here. Listen, I'm here for you guys. This community space right here is for yous and me for some healing too. But like, this is for us to collectively like get going. You know what I'm saying? This is a safe space. We want to be able to make movement on the things with this, and we want to share the people that are you need to be shared so that the content can get out there, so that you guys can help with this, because it's unity and community. Even just watching these feeds and just sharing this information is helping. You're part of you right now are inside the documentary. You're inside the Netflix doc. No, thank you. You could see DEW on your profile. Yeah, when I was at Standing Rock, they did a lot of the things that you're seeing in other places right now. I don't want to give too much energy to a lot of the stuff that's going on the world stage, but the machines that they're using on those people, they practice on us in Standing Rock. So at the time, there was a standing LRAD, and then they had mobile ones. And the people that, like the high up people that really, like LaDonna Allard and Myron Dewey and stuff like that. Myron Dewey, because he was exposing the long-term effects of the LRADs, and then LaDonna Allard actually crossed over from a brain tumor, and it was her property that she gave up for that movement, and they targeted her with that LRAD and her entire family, and a lot of them ended up very, very sick. So these are real things. They're real things, and be grateful that if you don't know what they are, that you don't know what they are. Yes, Mama Lou, this is all part of history. But see, this is where I struggle. We need to get this out. We need to be sharing this full court press on everything. All of it. Every corner, any which way that we can, from PETA for the animals to children, like any which way that we can do it, okay? But then that gives them energy. That gives them our energy. That gives them focus. That puts more focus on them. That gives them a bigger platform. Because the real truth on how you disarm these people is you take away their attention. And I think Julia can attest for this. Cassie was the princess. Cassie gets off on having attention. So if we take the attention from her, she withers away. That's why she's got to have her handler. That's why she's got to have Brittany. Brittany gives her attention 24 hours a day. So this is where I struggle, because I know in order to get rid of her, you don't feed it. However, you have to feed the monster in order to get this information out there. You have to bait the monster. You have to lure the monster in order to see what the monster's going to do. We do need to align and make a movement. We do have the right to know. Thank you for that confirmation, Julia. Death by 1,000 cuts. I love that idea. Oh, I'm sorry, Mama Lou. They do. They do. That's gambling. That's that. I'm saying that very simply, but that's like that gambling mentality. They thrive on the response to the behavior. So they get off on it. They get off on it. There's a way to do it without it benefiting them. Tell me, because I am like, let's figure that out. Definitely porcelain doll, 1000%. Is there anyone else in here that wants to know anything else? Or, I mean, we're going to do more of these and I'm going to go more in detail of stuff. We were just kind of like all over the place today, but I feel like that was necessary because that's kind of like how I was feeling. I was really unraveling things today. Being with the federales, that was a lot. That's where it started. Being in front of at the federal agency, and that just was, there's many layers to that. Not just my activism work, but just my own, like, any time that I've ever been essayed or raped or trafficked or anything like that, when I did go to the authorities, I was never believed. So to have to sit there before men, in front of men, and talk about these things as a BIPOC woman, and they're just looking at you. You know what I mean? Like they give you that, like, are you really telling the truth? This is so outlandish. These men didn't do that, but the men in the past, when I was trying to like report things. So there's trauma around that as well. So it started with that. So see what these women do. So in order to hold them accountable, I had to go through all this trauma remembrance just to do that. And then I had to deal with them and their recoil, the retaliation on TikTok and crap. That's why I had enough. That's why I went on their live under my secondary account. I have a secondary account, y'all, that I built today. I only got it so that I could watch them, and they blocked me. So I'm probably just going to delete it. But it's Kalima, Kalima, Kalima. The Dark Mother 2026. But I don't have any followers or anything, but it's a backup account. So if anything happens to this one, I think I'm going to start saving my videos there. So, but yeah, feel free to add that just in case if you want. See, I'm fully transparent. I don't got no secret accounts and no bullshit in the background. Like, this is the thing. Like, truth is in authenticity. So when you show up authentic, yeah, it might take a little bit. Authenticity takes a little bit for people to like really accept it and figure out if that's real or not. But once it is, that's where your integrity, like that's how people view you. So if you want people to receive you in a good way, be authentic. I mean, maybe it's the tism, maybe it's the autism, I don't know, but I've just always felt like that. Plus, my memory with the ADHD, I can't keep up with lies. I would fuck stories up left and right if I was trying to. That's how I don't understand how Cassie is. Well, she's got Brittany to back her up. That's why. That's why they record everything. So they record everything so that they can remember their lies. Wow. Wow. Wow, man. See, when you're in it and you're psychologically disoriented, you're trying to figure things out. And I'm autistic. So, of course, I'm trying to find the pattern. Like, there's no pattern in it. Again, that G5W book, that's what they talk about. There's no pattern in what they were doing, so I couldn't figure out, like, nothing made sense to me. I couldn't understand really why they were recording. They gave spiels and whatever, but like, really, why are you recording? And it's because of their lies. Holy shit. Could you imagine telling so many lies that you had to keep like you had to keep data logs of your lies? Wait a minute. I'm just like, your whole existence is to lie? Whoa. They're way sicker than I thought. I mean, I knew they were sick, but they are like they could be studied. They this is whoo, back up please. My creator just gave me this. This is unprecedented what we're dealing with them. They have, okay, so let's say they're parasitic, which they are, and let's say they're watching documentaries and things of interest. Say it's serial people, psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists, BPD, bipolar, OCD. Like, let's say that they're interested in all these different documentaries. And then they take those documentaries and they become them. They become it. They are a new breed. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down, or am I too early? Like, they are a new breed of these documentaries that we watch. There's been nothing like them before. There's been pieces. There's been like psychopaths, sociopaths, serials. Okay? But there's been cults. But there's been nothing like the combination of all of it with them. We can't stop. We cannot stop. We have to keep going. For the future generations. If these people can get away, what's this going to look like next year? What's this going to look like in 2 years if we don't stop them? Wow. Yeah, Mama Lou. And then they'll just keep saying we're crazy. But you know what? You know what? I'm not. I have documentation to prove it. None of us are. We're just smart, intelligent people that are loving and kind and compassionate. And we got took. We all got took. Of course, they have their comments off. I wouldn't be surprised, y'all, that anyone that's in this live feed, they're watching that from Brittany's page and they're blocking all of you. I wouldn't be surprised. Anyone that is in a favorable way of any comment towards this live, I guarantee they're going to block yous. That's right, Mama Lou. That's right. And be leery of these content creators that constantly are like either talking about the same thing and embellishing all these different aspects of it, and they're only talking about the same topic, or the people that are like talking about they say somebody's name, like my name. They'll be like, "Oh, and Nikki," but then they don't give you anything to back it up. Like, they don't give you any. They just give you speculative things. Like, that's just drama starting. It's just that's part of that G5W that they're trying to put seeds in your brain with my name, especially if you say it more than once. So this one particular creator that I had to block, if you go back and look at some of their videos, they say things 3 times. And at first, I have OCD, so at first I thought it was OCD, but then I was like, creator, what's the truth of this? The creator was like, that's coding. So I would start to listen to the words. One of it was, I'm not going to repeat it 3 times, but they said it 3 times, was compound. When I would talk about the being at the compound, they said something in their video and they were like, oh, at the compound. And then they said it 3 times. And I was like, that was weird. And then I was like, what were they just talking about? And how do I feel right now that they said that? How does my body feel? How does my mind feel? And then they said something else like, I can't recall off the top of my head, but whatever. There's certain words that they would say 3 times in their videos. Not repetitive words. They would repeat that word 3 times. It's not a patterning of that word being said numerous times throughout different videos. It's just in that video, they're saying specific words 3 times, which are seed plantings. Again, I'm hemi-synced. Stuff like that don't work on me. And that's why Cassie and Britt were going after me so bad with the psychological warfare, because it wasn't working on me. And they didn't understand why it wasn't. And I was using it back on them. Once I realized what they were doing, I mean, I studied Art of War at 8 years old. That was my Bible. I have a copy of Art of War right now. Once I learned what they were doing, I just did it back to them. That's what kept me sane. That and focusing a little bit on Natasha and trying to get her out of there. Beyond duality have a particular significance, like in the occult. I think they think it does. But there are specific words, like beyond, that means something, duality means something. But I think they think it has significance. But words, like names and words like that, have significance if you allow it. So every time we say that, every time we say beyond duality, it's giving it power. Every time they're on a live feed and they say beyond duality, they're asking for power in that name. Oh, well, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. What are you having for dinner? Is there anything else you guys want to know? I know we've been all over the place tonight. It is a mini cult, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to stop it before it becomes roasted veggies. Yummy, yummy. You got potatoes in there? It's a mini cult of their own, yes. And we're trying to prevent it from getting to be a cult all the way. I have to get up a little here. Because she would allow it, they would allow it to. Cassie would absolutely enjoy that. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out my ass. Maybe Julia would know better. I mean, Julia, do you think that your sister would get off on being the leader of a cult? I mean, we're all speculating, but Julia really knows her. That's her sister. Julia said absolutely. Yeah, I mean, sorry, taking my socks off, my feet got hot. And being autistic, I don't normally wear socks, but they're like fuzzy. So they were a nice feeling until they weren't. And then I had to hurry up and rip them off because I didn't like the feeling anymore. Wow, that's an observation, Torres. Thank you for that. Kim was in here earlier. She started following me today. I think it was. I don't know. It's been a long day, today or yesterday, and I'm really concerned for her safety. I guess somebody said that she shaved her head. That might have been ritualistic. I'm worried about that. A vanity ritual that she might have gave up her hair for Cassie and Brittany so that they could be sustainable for them to do their live feeds. Because, I mean, you guys saw them earlier. They both look like they had panda eyes. I mean, I know ritualistic stuff. I do. And I think that they shaved her head. Or she volunteered it as a sacrifice or an offering. But I could be speculating. I mean, it could have just been a mental health thing, too. that happens as well. But when you're talking about these people, anything's possible. Oh, Laura, thank you for reminding me of that. See, complex trauma, there's things that I notice that I want to address, but then I forget about them. So, you all, this is the kind of stuff I need the support from you guys. Like when you bring things up like that, that's helpful to me. So, I don't know if you all saw that, but there was a video that Cass had Kimberly. That was the part that was really concerning for me. They had Kimberly in the video in the background, and it was like there was a TikTok creator that I saw before. It was a husband and wife, and it's very satire. And she always stands in the front like this, and he's in the back, and she's like, "So, hubby, tell them." And he'd be like, "Yeah," and she'd be like, "Right," and he'd be like, "Yeah," and then she'd be like, "Right," like whatever they're talking about. So you could tell that she's like programming him and like forcing him to say those things, but it's funny. Like it's a joke between. It's like their whole shtick on their thing. She's a badass. She's awesome, funny, anyway. um it's very much that energy, but like for real. So when she's standing there, Cassie's standing here and Kimberly's back here, and she's like, or on this side, she's like, right, Kimberly? And Kimberly's like, yep. And then Cassie would say her point, blah 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 blah. Right, Kimberly? And Kimberly would be like, yep. And then Cassie would be like, well, in that, right, Kimberly? And Kimberly would be like, yep. Two things on that. One, the control, showing the control over Kimberly publicly. And two, that's a public humiliation. That's ritual. These are subtle things. And if you're not aware of them, you will totally miss them. You will totally miss them. But see, here's the thing about Cassie. When she does learn, she teaches people. When she tells you about this stuff, she's teaching you. She really, I don't mean her bullshit, I've been on the island crap. I'm talking about like when they start talking about out there stuff. Like take it with a grain of salt. Go and do your own research. But if they mention something that you've never heard before, don't take it from her. Go and research it yourself. But she's talking about it because it's very real. And if she's talking about it, it's on their radar and they're doing it. I'm telling you that right now. I know that. If she's talking about it, she's doing it. Period. Yeah, Kim's at the compound in Up, Alabama. She can never complete a story because it's too much for her to compile. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're all up to speed that Cassie blatantly has lied in your faces. First of all, I'm not even talking about the islands because that was just. But this whole like they don't block anybody and everybody's blocked them, and she's tried to communicate with them and bring them on live feeds and have conversations and stuff like that. Everyone's caught up to speed that she's full of shit. That people, the content creators, have been showing you that we're all blocked. Like I'm blocked. That's why I made that second account. I don't even know how to do this stuff. So I had to make that second account just so that I could view some of their videos that people were saying that I needed to look at. And then when she had that live feed earlier, that one woman was on there. I want to know who that was. That one woman was like, you harmed me. And Cassie was like, how? Blah, blah, blah. And then they hung up on her. And then I was like, you harmed me in the comments. And they missed it at first and they must have saw it. And then Cassie's like, oh, here goes another one. How did I harm you? And I go, Cass, Cass. And then she got really mad. And she, that's not my name. Yeah, bitch, it is. Your name is Cass. Cassie. Cassie Regina. Cassie Regina. I refuse to call her her full name because she gets so off on it. She gets so much empowerment from it. So I refuse. And so I said Cass, and she was about to like crash out, but then she remembered she was on a live. So then I put Nikki. And my name is spelled Nikki, and they know that. Clearly, it's not my given name. My given name is Andrea Nicole, or Andrea Nicole. But that's my given name. So I go by Nikki. And so Brittany was like, Nikki. Or no, they first Cassie saw Kalima because I was on that second account. And she goes, I don't know a Kalima. I was like, bitch, yes, the fuck you do know a Kalima. And anyway, so Brittany goes, Nikki. Like, who's Nikki? And then the second that her brain caught up that it was me with that spelling, Nikki, they blocked me. Witchlin, hey, hey. Cassie up. That's a good one. Okay, Porcelain Doll, no problem. Hey, Witchlin, would you be willing to, have you ever done this though? Would you be willing to be a moderator and just kind of keep an eye on the comments? If not, Witchlin, would Mama Lou, if you're still in here, if you would be interested in doing that? Thank you, Porcelain Doll, so much. I appreciate you. Oh, Mama Lou. Okay, thank you. Got it. I'm going to add you too, Witchlin, just so you can learn if you want about it. You don't have to do anything. I'm just going to add you so you could check it out on your end. If it's something that you want to do eventually. Okay. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be on here though, because I've been on here for quite a bit now. I was doing, just to catch people up, I'm doing these live feeds. I have to do them 3 days in a row in order to be able to go live with a guest. And my goal, starting tomorrow, because I'll have the availability to do that, is to bring people on video. I want people to be able to see the abuser, the abused, the people that were being harmed by Cassie and Brittany. And I want to be able to have them up and let them talk and tell us about what they experienced in the abuse of them. And listen, you guys, I feel like we really should start calling it what it really is. Okay? Like, we have to take the good night, Porcelain Doll. We have to take the power out of it, of the secret of, we're still in this middle of, I can't believe they do that. That's so crazy. I never thought that somebody could do that. So because we're holding that energy, and I am too, I'm still struggling with it. We're using compassionate words to describe them. We're not using the words that describe them. The words that describe them are psychopaths, abusers, traffickers, manipulators, liars, deceivers. What other words? Speaking is a spell and words are powerful. What other words, you guys? Put them in. Frauds. It's a good one. Put the words in the chat. We have to start using the proper words for them. Even me calling them grifters. Being called a grifter is nothing. I need to stop doing that. I need to start calling them my abusers because they abused me. They tried to So we need to call them what they are. Words matter. I struggle with that because I have ADHD and I gotten corrected a couple times because sometimes I struggle with words, and even though I'm really, really educated and I have a really good vocabulary, sometimes my words get screwed up because I have ADHD, because I'm like squirrel inside my head, shiny, and then all of a sudden I'm trying to talk. So I struggle with that still too, but I might be using the wrong word for something. But I will circle back and I'll correct myself once I realize it. But yes, words absolutely matter. Speaking is a spell. Crow brain. Yup. Your spirit animal's a squirrel. Oh, squirrels are so cute. That was one of the things when I was being trafficked up in by the Masons up in Muskoka. They had squirrels and chipmunks that would come up on the stairs every day. That was like my little, my little reward. And I would have peanuts. It was the first time, I mean, I've lived at almost 50 years almost. It was the first time I actually got to feed chipmunks from my hands or squirrels from my hands. It was so cool. It was so cool. So, if there's anyone new in here, I'm just catching up everyone I'll just catch you up real quick about what we were talking about. We were talking about a lot about Beyond Duality and their abuses and their taking advantage of vulnerable community members and being fraudulent and how they've hurt people and how we're going to stop them. Oh, welcome, welcome to all the new people. Welcome, welcome. Look at that, Witchelin. You came in and all the rest of the magic followed you. So, what do you guys think about? I'm trying to. Again, this is the space for you all. I'm just the facilitator here, right? Like I'm just the catalyst with it. I'm the one just saying, let's do it. I don't give a shit. Let them try. They can't do nothing on me. So, what do you guys think about like putting together our own type of documentary through these live feeds and videos? Is that possible? Are we able to save these like live feeds and stuff? Is anyone good at like technological stuff like that can do editing? That would be cool. Could you imagine putting together some kind of documentary uh on YT? That would be amazing. Oh, and you can. That's incredible. Okay. Just to be in the bonnet, like everyone wants to be helpful and everyone has skills and everyone has a role and everyone wants justice to prevail. Not one person can just do editing. There's a bunch of people that can contribute to this. You guys could start a group. You can start, that could be your advocacy. That could be your activism in it. Is you guys get together separately outside of these live feeds and go, you know what? We're going to do this. This is what at least what we can do is edit and put these things together and put it into like a documentary form. Let's all do that then. Let's go across the board and start collecting these videos and let's put them together and do it. That's just how you do it. You just get it done. You just make the choice and you find the people with the skill set and you just do it. Okay, see, Mama Lou's got content. Is there anyone tech savvy that could take the content and go through and like edit it? And is there anyone that knows music that maybe could put some really powerful music behind it? Is there anyone that can, you know what I mean? Like things like that. And again, I live a very limited income. I'm not going to lie on that. Absolutely. But I am taken care of. Okay. So if there is any monetization or any money or anything like that, please, once again, put it back into real programs like MMIW. Right. I'm not doing any of this for anything but besides the truth. And if there's ever any money generated for anything, it all goes back to MMIW stuff. At least for me. I can only talk for me. You know what I mean? But there's other people that are victims as well. And there's way more people that are victims as well. I was at their compound though. I don't know too many other people that were besides Natasha and now Kimberly. But I really want to Now that I saw Kimberly in here, okay, so I was thinking about it earlier when Kimberly added me. For those that don't know, Kimberly is their long-term tenant at the compound that I feel like they're trafficking. Um, Kimberly ended up there after Natasha left, which I found that out, and I was so glad to know that because having that survivor's guilt of leaving her there was horrific for the last few years. But now that she's following me, at first I was like, oh, she wants to spy for Cassie and Brittany. And then I was like, what if, because Natasha would follow me. So what if I was a lifeline and they were using following me as a guise to appease Cassie and Brittany to spy? But what if they're really like trying to ask for help? And then when Kimberly was in here earlier and I addressed her asking her if she needed help, I feel like I really want to help her. We need to get her out more so than investigating them right now. Like, yes, keep the investigation going, but we need to be working in the background about getting Kimberly out. These are signs. You know this sign? That was her sign. That was her doing this. I'm telling you, that was her doing this. I could feel it inside of me. Especially when I know she's heard by now that I was concerned about Natasha. I know she has. So we have to find a way to reach her and to get her out. She's not safe. And we're not talking enough about that, to be honest. Because the people out there that really are concerned, why aren't they talking about her? She's still there. She's a victim in all of it. I don't know off the top of my head, Mama Lou, but I will send the link unless somebody has it in here already for you. Kimberly Joe, I think it is. I'm not sure. Oh, I couldn't have a co-host because I didn't go live 3 days. That's why Brittany didn't come in. Oh, so hopefully maybe Brittany will come in tomorrow. But that means Brittany's looking at all my videos now. See, that's the drama that they create. The gamblers. That gambler mentality. So they block everybody, right? And then people go and do videos and stuff. And then when they need to feed, they go and unblock everyone so they can go and look at everything, the content, so they can build more content, so they can come and do these live feeds so that they can grift on you guys, so they can abuse yous. The icon to co-host is here now. Oh, it's unlocked. What's this? Co-host benefits you may get. I don't know what that is. All right, and what's this? Go live with a guest. Oh, I could go live with a guest. Does anybody want to come on? Anyone in here want to come on with me? Y'all got me excited. You're like, you could go, you could bring a co-host on now, but now nobody wants to come up. Y'all are silly. It's so funny. That's okay. Nobody has to. Nobody has to. It's all right. You don't have to. No worries. No worries, you guys. We'll do it tomorrow. It's just nice to know that it's there now and that we did it. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without all your help because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on this stuff. So thank you for having patience with an old auntie. Thank you very much. Delete, destroy, and uncreate old, though. I'm young and vibrant. At least that's how I feel inside my heart. All right, you guys, does anybody have any other questions or anything like that? Oh, Witchland, thank you. Tina Bruno, oh, thank you. Does anybody have anything else they want to add? Because if not, I'm gonna log off here because we've been on here for a while now. A couple hours at least. I could still keep talking about a few things, but I need to know what you guys want to talk about. I still have energy. It will likely be in the evening again. Are you working tomorrow, Witchlin? No, they have their compound in Op, Alabama. Um, they travel supposedly like when they have money, but they're not really, I mean, they're not really lying sometimes though, because they might make contacts with people on here that might have a insight into something, and they're like, yeah, we'll come out and we'll investigate it, and then they ask all of you for money, and then they go out, but they're really going on that road trip, so they're gambling, so they're getting their hit. They're going on a road trip. They're limited with money. They're gonna go check something out. They get out there. They get a hotel room. They do their whatever they're doing, each other, whatever. Um, and then they don't really do any kind of work out there. They tell people once they get there that, oh yeah, we've already concluded the, whatever, when they might not have even done anything. How would you know? See, here's the thing. How would you guys know? Because they don't ever, they hide it under the guise of the protection of the women and children. So how would you ever know who they're really rescuing? Like, for real. The people they're rescuing are actually you all. So when they are saying, oh, I need money because we have to go on a rescue, they're just doing that to get money from you. I was with them for a full month, but or close to a full month, but I've known them since 2016, 2015, somewhere around there. I was at the compound. We had a falling out in 2019 because of the crazy erratic behavior. And then I was stuck in a situation where I was in a really bad situation with some high ranking Masons in Canada, and I needed to be extracted. And they were the only people that were available. They kept coming up on my FYP. I had no interaction with them for 2, 3 years prior to that. Had no reason why they should show up on my FYP, and then they just started showing up on my FYP. And then I think it took me like about a month to reach out to them. And when I did, I was like, they're crazy enough to come get me. So I asked my creator, and my creator was like, yep, they're going to be the ones, but it's going to be an insane ride. And I was like, all right. And so they came to get me, and they really were just taking me from traffickers to traffic me. To be honest with you, Couture, in this now moment, because I'm dealing with the revisiting my own traumas, no, I'm not in a good way to help somebody else with their trauma in this now moment. But I appreciate you feeling safe enough to reach out and be vulnerable to ask. I mean, once we're through all this, if there's still a need for that, absolutely. Thank you. I'm glad to. I actually, well, I could talk about that. You guys want to hear the story of the pew pews and my sister-in-law that I never met driving all the way from Tennessee? You want to hear that? And then we'll close out for the night. Oh, you're welcome. I mean, I won't ever, like, I'm not gonna fluff you up. You know what I mean? I'm not in a good way to be able to do that for somebody else. managing my own, revisiting all this trauma right now. So, but I'm very honored that you feel safe with me to ask that. So thank you. Of course, Mama Lou. Oh, I get it, Couture. Yeah, I mean, once I piece everything together and I'm in a good way, I'm be more than happy. But feel free to stay on and follow this because I will be talking about it. So, unless it's triggering, you know what I mean? I don't want to cause any more further harm to you. But you're more than welcome to follow the path in my journey and all this while I unravel it. All right, so I'm dealing with all this psychological warfare, and I don't know what's up, what's down. They're really starting to get to me, and I'm in that cookhouse, and I really do believe that I'm being zapped with DEW. And there was even a point at one point where they didn't even come into the cookhouse for a couple days. And I think after Cassie made a comment about sitting underneath the electrical box, she's like, I'm probably going to end up with a brain tumor because that's where she would sit. And but I think that was her way of telling me that there was a DEW in there. And so there was a few days that they didn't even come in there. And those days that when they were in there, I was very sick. Like the same feeling that I got when we got hit with the LRAD at Standing Rock. It was the same like sensation. It's very hard to explain what it feels like when that happens. I actually have cardiac issues from it now, from being hit with the LRAD. Um, it's really odd. It's a very odd feeling. It depends on what they're using. So if they're using frequency, they can do it to your ears. And what saved me on that is I'm deaf and hard of hearing. So the connection to my ears isn't the same as a hearing person. I can't say it out loud, but it's a direct energy W. You're going to have to fill in the W. If somebody can give that to them, that would be great. Um, but I'm deaf and hard of hearing. So that when I was exposed to the DEW in that regard, it didn't impact me. Um, but it impacted other people. For me, in my chest, because I'm heart centered, that's why I have this tattoo. When the frequency was in this area, it felt like a combination of things. It felt like if you were standing on like a next to a big concert speaker and it would vibrate like that. And the feeling when you're on like it's been many years since I've been able to do these, but you know those drop down rides where even you're either standing or sitting and it drops really, really fast and your whole insides feel like they're coming out your asshole, basically. Um, it's that feeling plus that feeling of like being near a super large concert speaker, but also painful. But it's also painful. It's very intense. And they have different intensity levels that they can do it at. Literally do it at. I just realized what I said. There's different levels that they can set it for. And if you are vulnerable, like if you're older or if you have injury already and things like that, oh, it's very much Stranger Things. They practiced a lot of things on us at Standing Rock. Um, if you're vulnerable, it can unalive you. It can definitely unalive you. Um, so anyhow, it also does stuff to your like your mental health. So I'm not typically, even though I have complex trauma, I'm not typically a depressed person. I do have seasonal affective disorder, so I do have issues when I don't have sunshine. But we were in Alabama and the sun was out every day. The issue was too much sun. So Alabama in August. Could you imagine how hot that was? At a compound. So, whatever was going on with the psyop of it all, I was really depressed. Like, hopeless. I felt hopeless. I felt like no one knew where I was. No one would believe how I ended up here. I felt like because I couldn't utilize my phone, because it was being jammed all the time, I felt like I was forgotten. But I knew that wasn't true. And that I held on to because I knew my creator had me. I held on to that. That's what got me through. That's what kept me sane enough to be swift enough in the free moment that I had. So what ended up happening is I got off the compound with Natasha, and I forget what we were reconning something because we were near Hunt, Alabama. And in Hunt, Alabama, was it Hunt? There's these words, right? Like Hunt, Alabama, Op, Alabama, Enterprise, Alabama, um, Huntsville, Alabama. There was a Raytheon group not too far from the compound. Do that math. And helicopters would fly whenever we would leave the compound. Huntsville, yep. There's a Huntsville in Ontario too. That's why I remembered it. Where I was trafficked up at. There's a Huntsville near there too, which I thought it was really weird that there's a Huntsville where I just was, and now there's a Huntsville where I'm going to, or nearby. And so there was helicopters every time we would leave the compound, which I didn't leave very often. I wasn't allowed to, I guess. But helicopters would fly over us. So that day, what were we doing? Oh, looking at sheds because we were looking at structures. Again, I had resourcing money. I was looking at structures to put on the property, but we would have to come in. I'm starting to remember things now. Thank you for your patience. So it'll start flowing. Complex trauma will do that. They brought me to the compound. They came to Canada and got me and brought me to their compound. Thank you, Witchlyn. I just lost it. I'm going to have to not look at the comments while I'm talking about this. I'm sorry. I just forgot where I was going. I forgot. What was I just talking about? Complex trauma does that. It will. I was traumatized in that moment. Looking at sheds. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's coming back. See, trauma does that. It'll stop you from remembering for your safety in your body. We were looking at sheds because I have money and I had resources. And it's the middle of August and it's hot. And the only air conditioner is in the cookhouse, which they put that dirty mattress and dirty blanket on the floor for me. And I knew I needed to get out of that cookhouse. So we went looking at sheds. They were like a monthly, like a zero down, pay a monthly fee. And I was telling them that I would happily, because they were super cheap. They were like $150 a month. I was like, I will happily go buy 3 of these right now. 4 of them. Like, I'll shack up with Natasha if we have to. You know what I mean? Like, you and the children needed a structure that was safe. And so, I mean, I'm looking at them. I'm in the structures. This is why I'm blown away by how CPS has not come and taken these kids yet. Like, seriously. So I got out and they had to unlock my phone or whatever they did to my phone because I had to call these people to ask about meeting them to buy. See, I was doing something for them. And because I was giving them something, every time I was giving them something, they were cool with me. So we went and we looked at these structures. Well, she was supposed to keep me tied up in that. But in the meantime, I was working my phone because I'm starting to get like hundreds of messages were coming through just after I started to feel that feeling of like everybody forgot about me. Hundreds of messages coming. I couldn't even use my phone yet because so much stuff was pinging through. I finally get a hold of an MMIW organizer. And I'm like, I'm missing. And she said, hold on. And she got me with Cheryl Angel. And Cheryl Angel was out of the country. Now you guys can go research her. Like, I'm telling you legit stuff. This really happened. And I'm sorry if I'm aggressive with it, but I had to like really go through 2 years of therapy. So Cheryl Angel is out of the country. So the organizer was like, we're going to get you out. We're going to get you out. We're getting you out. And so they were like, I told them, I said, I only got a few minutes. And they were like, who do you know that no one is affiliated to, that no one knows about? Who do you know? And I said, I don't fucking know. They said, go through your phone list. So I start going through my phone list. And I don't even know how I had her number. But my ex-sister-in-law, she was married to my piece of shit brother. Bless her heart. And they had my nephew, who was born with brain issues. And I've never met her. Never even met her. They were already married, had a kid, and divorced. Never met her. She was in Tennessee. We were friends on Facebook. She reached out to me like once or twice to talk about some spiritual stuff because I'm well known. I mean, Witchland's in here now. Witchland can verify that's because that's how Cassie and I met. Cassie was a client of mine working spirituality. And so I was helping her with a couple things. My sister-in-law, ex-sister-in-law. So I think she felt like this was like a repayment. But anyhow, I was like, the only person I have is my ex-sister-in-law. And she's like, where are they? And I said, Tennessee. And the organizer was like, you're in Alabama? I go, Alabama, which is southern Alabama. And she was like, all right, we're going to get on it. Gave her the number. And they texted her. And she called me. And Natasha was inside one of the buildings, looking at sheds. Because she's a double agent at this point. Like, she's a victim. But she's doing things for them to make them happy so that they don't abuse her. Does that make sense? Like, that's what ends up happening when you're in these situations. Like, you want to do things for them so that they don't hurt you. And you go above and beyond to do things for them. They target people pleasers. And you go above and beyond so they won't hurt you. And even if in their minds they think they wouldn't, the things that they're doing and saying definitely display that you could be unalived. And they know what they're doing. They knew exactly what they were doing. So she called and she's like, what's up? I go, I only got a few minutes. She goes, go ahead, tell me. Now, she has been in the industry, okay, her whole entire life. Like the Midnight Ballerina. And so she's well aware of all this stuff. So, and she's got her own traumas and stories too. So she didn't ask no questions. She was just like, tell me what's happening and tell me where you are. So I told her what was happening. And she goes, oh, they're going to traffic you. If they're not going to traffic you, they're going to sacrifice you. I'm coming. And I was like, what? Like, this is the first time that I've ever like actually heard another person say this, like that, like so assuredly, like so like matter of factly, like there was no waver in her voice. and in that moment, it like really solidified for me that this was real. Because I knew who she was and I knew what she encountered. So for her to say that to me, for this MMIW organizer to tell me that I'm an MMIW right now, Like they had to like put that this is how twisted Cassie and Brittany had me, that I had no idea that I was a missing Indigenous woman in that moment that they were going to traffic. They were exploiting me. They were using me for my money in that moment. They were psychologically fucking with me. They were getting me set up for a ritual. They were getting me set up for a ritual. They were doing all the things to get all that adrenal heightened, to get your body into that full state. They were prepping me. And that's what both those people told me, who were not in, they didn't know anything about each other. One's an MMIW organizer, and one's somebody that worked as a midnight ballerina. Okay? So she had, my ex-sister-in-law, just had carpal tunnel surgery on both her hands. She drove a car that needed a CV joint. Have you ever had a car that needed a CV joint? It does this. And she's a tattoo artist. That's why she had the carpal tunnel surgery. So not only did she risk her career driving that car with the CV joint, and two, just done, day before she just had carpal tunnel surgery on both her hands. She drove from Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, or wherever it was in Tennessee, to Opp, Alabama to get me. She drove straight through. By the time we got back that day, I was already planning. I already knew I was getting out. So in that conversation, so we hang up, whatever, we have a plan, she's going to come. So I sit with it and I say, Creator, you're from Tennessee, Charity? Wow, I love Tennessee. I was like, Creator, what do I do about Natasha? Do I ask her to go? Like, this is my only opportunity to ask her before we go back to the compound. Like, what do I do? If I ask her, then I'm going to give myself up. And she's going to tell them that I'm getting ready to leave. So what do I do? And Creator said, pose it as a question. And I said, what do you mean? Creator goes, give her a what if and see what she says. So I said, all right. As we're driving back, I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, hey, Natasha, you know, if you had the opportunity to leave here, where would you go? Oh, I wouldn't. I love it here. Like, just programmed, just like still driving, doesn't even consider it, didn't even drop in, still driving. And I was like, Natasha, and I made her look at me, and I was like, you cool with being here? Like, you don't want to leave? Like, I'm thinking about, like, this ain't what I thought it was gonna be. Like, are you want to leave? You thinking about leaving? And she kind of, for a split second, she looked at me like, yeah. And then her eyes shifted and changed. And she went right back to that. No, I love it here. She's like, okay. So we go back. And I know she's not. I can't tell her right now. So we go back and whatever. And it's still pretty early. I want to say it's like 5 or 6 or something like that. And we debrief. I tell them what happens. They call stuff all military stuff. Like just going and looking at shuds. We had a debrief. And telling them, well, we were looking at, and I'm thinking we could do this and blah, blah, blah. And so I go back into the cookhouse because I think we were outside. I think we were out by the picnic table or something, or we might have been in the cookhouse. And yeah, I think we were in the cookhouse, and then they left, and I'm in the cookhouse. And I start going through my stuff. And I start packing it up little by little. Like, what do I still need? What can I take out with me without being obvious? You know, like what do I need to do? And so I slowly start packing stuff up little by little. They come in and out. They don't really notice much, but because I haven't really moved stuff, I always kind of just kept all my stuff kind of in one spot and just kind of lived out of my suitcase kind of thing. So by like 9, 10 o'clock, they were like, yeah, we're going to head into the trailers because they were hanging out. That was their hangout spot in the cookhouse. And again, I'm calling it a cookhouse. You'll see a content creator saying that they called it a cookhouse because they're spirit cooking or whatever. Like, I call it a cookhouse. I'm not saying that they weren't spirit cooking, because they were, but words matter. Context matters. Because that content creator is creating chaos and confusion, because that content creator has the brother-in-law that wrote that book, 5GW. So, anyhow, they leave. I'm like, all right, yeah, I think I'm gonna get to bed. That was a lot getting out. It's the first time, or I said something about it was a lot going out because it was the first time I've been out in a while. And they were like, all right, they go and do their thing. And I knew at that point in the patterning that Cassie and Brittany spent time together, and then Brittany would go like back to her house or whatever, but not until like usually late, or they would have a fire, you know. So I knew that they were going to be in Cassie's house. So I gave the layout last night, but it's kind of hard on here. So in the cookhouse, when you open the door and look out, I'm trying to show you in my room. When you open the cookhouse door, straight across from you is Cassie's trailer, and it goes this way. And then to the left of you is Brittany's trailer, and it goes this way. So I'm in the cookhouse, Brittany's trailer, Cassie's trailer. And then in the middle, there's a raised area for a picnic table and a barbecue spot. When you look out the front door of the cookhouse and you see Cassie's front door and kitchen window looking at you, and all of Brittany's windows watching this door, you don't really have an escape. So when you look out the cookhouse door, when you open it, there's that platform, Cassie's trailer. The road to go up to the main road, the driveway, is right there on the side of Cassie's trailer going up. And then the animals are on this side, animal pens across the driveway. So in order to get up the driveway, it's a distance. I mean, it's not like a quarter mile or anything. You could see the road from there, but it's a distance when you're dragging suitcases, escaping abuse in the middle of the night so that they don't see or hear you. So what I did is, and I'm sure they're super curious on how I did this, how I got out. I'm sure they're like really trying. It was creator. It was the timing of my creator. I listened and it got me out. So creator, I was like, all right, creator, what do I have to lose? At least my ex-sister-in-law will be here and she can verify that I was here. If something happened to me before she got there, I knew she would do something about it. Because now 3 people know where I am. So I said, fuck it. Fuck it. If this is how I go out, then this is how I go out. So I grabbed my heaviest suitcase first. Luckily, it had wheels on it. And I only had like 5 bags. That's what I was living out of with all my travels. So I wheeled the biggest suitcase out first. So what I did, and they had bright lights out there, right? Like bright lights out there. The lights went out. They were all tired. They literally were getting ready to go to bed. So I was like, oh my God, creator, this is like amazing. So I waited. I didn't know. I had no way to know when my sister-in-law was coming because my phone, I had no idea. I just timed it. She said, I'm leaving now. I gave her an hour from the time that she said she was leaving, and she said it would take her X amount of hours to get there. So